stop feeling sorry for yourself and listen.
Mike, do an introduction.
Welcome to the Open Your Mind podcast with DJ Lou and our special guest, Eva. How you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up. I was going to do that.
Yes, thank you for tuning in to the Open Your Minds podcast and the New World Order Truth Radio Mass Media with Eva. We got a lot to talk about. First things first, Eva, how's life?
Life is wonderful. It can be better. It definitely can be worse.
Well, that's
today's a good day.
Yes, it should be. What is the New World Order Truth Movement Radio? What is that about? Can you explain to us what your guys' criteria is towards the masses?
Truth, getting the truth out there, informing people.
Yeah.
It's far from the mainstream media. We're not affiliated with the mainstream media. We just want to get the truth out there and open a lot of eyes.
Beautiful. And when you say truth, what is truth to you? I mean, because truth can be anything if you really open your mind to it. Truth could be Adolf Hitler thought he was, truthful when he murdered all the Jews because they were supposedly invading the German people.
Well, you're absolutely right. There's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth.
Beautiful.
So,
and I think what you mean by that is what is the best thing to do for humanity. And what other topics have you guys discussed on the NWO Truth Radio Mass Media? Can you tell us a couple topics that you've had?
Well, our recent guest was Governor Hopeful for California, Nicholas Wildstar. He is awesome. As soon as he really starts his campaigning, I will join the forces and make an honest effort to get him elected.
Yeah, definitely enjoy that guy, listening to him talk. He reminds me of a lot of what we do on this show, and he brought up names that I really could connect with. And Alex Jones, of course, Ron Paul. And I say Alex Jones, of course, is because Ron Paul digs into the conspiracies and asks questions, and people call him a nut. People call him crazy because of the way he grabs your attention, and he's, outspoken. I think that's the only way to grab someone's attention, because you're like, hi, everyone. I'm going to explain something. You're like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that. So when Alex Jones uses that energy and grabs your attention by saying, look, man, don't you understand what's happening? The New World Order. Open your damn eyes. And people are like, dude, relax. I want to sip my beer and go party, man. Relax. And I get what Alex Jones is doing, and that's why I see his face and I go, I can connect with that guy.
Isn't he retiring?
I don't know.
He claims he's giving it up.
I take Alec with a grain of salt.
They said that he was a CIA agent. That's what I read last time. But who knows what's right.
So a CIA agent would tell us all these things about the problems that we're having, who's in control, and show paperwork like the FBI statistics about why they want to ban guns. And here's the statistics stating that when there's more guns, there's less violence.
Well, their argument was it's kind of like a false hope. It's kind of like, oh, this guy's on our side. I'm not saying it's true, bro. I'm just saying
I'm not
that,
saying you're saying it's true.
All I'm saying is that, like, I take it exactly what Eva said. I agree with exactly a grain of salt.
I don't. I take it with a lot of pride because it takes a man to put his heart on the line and go out and put the media on blast and go to the guys in New York that are doing live broadcasting in Times Square and have a big old microphone and say 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, to do that kind of thing it's like Edward Snowden.
But that's like forcing stuff on people, don't you think? Like, a lot of people aren't ready for it, and sometimes they never will be.
And like you said before, when will
that's
they
what
be
I'm
ready?
going into. Yeah, but the problem is that you got to just plant seeds at a time. You can't expect somebody to just bam.
It's everyone's different, and we all have different ways of attacking or approaching. Eva, you have your feeling. Mike, you have your feeling. But I'm going with my heart and saying we don't have time to softly tell people. We need to push. And we got a phone call. I don't know why my ringer's going off, but
I actually like it.
You're Big E, right?
That's our Big E. Little's been on with you for a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. How you been, bro? I've listened to your guys' show, and I definitely. What do you think of Alex Jones?
Not much.
Well, that's an insult. Why is that?
Well, when I first got involved in this movement, okay,
Okay.
I tried to get help from him in exposing some things going on in my local area.
And how did you do
Without
that?
taking up too much time talking about that,
You got plenty of time. Just break it down to us.
No help. I didn't get no help. You know, I
What do you mean?
Going to him.
Okay, but you realize he's got a radio show to do. He's got other things going on. He actually hires people to deal with that. And if you come at him correctly, he might be able to help you. He might not be able to help you. I mean, the guy's got things to do. I can't help everyone, you know.
I understand all that, but you know, I don't know.
So give me some sort of.
He did say one person to talk to me, but.
Okay, well then give him some credit.
Yeah,
I mean, what was that about?
I don't know, man. It seemed like it seemed to, like, you know, I know I'm not the only person he's kind of done that to. You know, he did that sort of thing to a family we knew. Like, I consider these guests on the E for Eternity show to be part of the E for Eternity family. Kitty Wolf and Scott Thompson concerning Andrew Rose.
Yeah.
Now, the kind of thing that happened with me is the same situation that happened with their nephew, Andrew Rose. But his situation was a heck of a lot worse than what I was trying to expose. I was just trying to expose local, county,
Right.
state law and mental health corruption.
And I overheard you on your show. Can I say something real quick? I overheard you on your show stating that you do not want to go out in public because you're afraid of getting picked up and all that, that you'd rather stay doing it privately where you can't be touched. And I appreciate that. But when you see a guy actually doing it, I mean, putting his life on the line, there's no respect there. I mean, we don't give him any credit for that. That's crazy. That's insane. I give the man massive credit like I give Governor Wildstar, who goes up to the Fullerton police and say, "Why are you pulling me over? What did I do? You don't even have your freaking lights on. Why are you pulling me over?" And the cop's like, "Well, I just want to see what's going on." What do you mean? What are you talking about?
How's your day?
I totally think that. But it seems like my area, Sullivan County, where 3 towns away is where the original Woodstock site was in 1969. You know the original Woodstock site? That's 3 towns away from me. It's like that whole spirit that's everywhere else stopped being here after pretty much after Woodstock '94, I guess.
What is your point? What are you getting at?
Thinking, like the whole protest mindset.
Okay.
The whole
I think I could see where you're coming from, because Woodstock, you had all the music, and now it's been hijacked by the corporations to be all about moving your ass and all this nonsense, kill each other, what set you from, and all this negativity, and like, I'm so depressed and blah blah blah. Where before the music was okay. I hate bringing this guy up, but Kanye talking shit on Beck. Beck plays instruments, produces his whole album, writes his own lyrics. You know, I give it up to that man. You know, so I could understand where you're coming from, because it is definitely the music.
And not only that, it's like the area that I'm in. It's like I did that. I did that. Not once, not twice.
You did what?
4 times of going out and protesting on my own.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you strike me as a guy. You strike me as a guy that would do something like that, because you seem to be a very open-minded guy, a very outspoken man. And hold on, we got another call coming in here. Let me combine forces here. I think this is the governor here. What's going on, brother man?
What's up? Who is this?
Are you the governor of Wildstar?
I am.
Dude, I got mad props for you, bro. I got a lot of love for you, brother, because I've watched your YouTube video when the Fullerton police officer approached you at the gas station and you went to pump gas, and the dude's behind you without his lights on approaches you and says, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm getting gas at a gas station," and you're like showing the gas station with your camera, like you're showing the name of the whatever it was, Shell or wherever you were. First of all, I want to ask you, what does it take to run for a governor? Because I feel like if more of us actually do that, it opens the eyes to, hey, you can do it. You might lose the election because it's all rigged, but give it a chance and open people's eyes to what's going on, what you're doing, and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you very much, my man. Hey, the reason why I decided to run was because of people like you, and I just felt like we the people deserved a true representative in office that's going to reflect what we desire as, citizens. So,
yes, sir.
Really, there isn't any technical way to get involved into politics. You just have to fit all of the requirements, so to speak, and run.
Yes, sir. I connect with you very much because of some of the names that you brought up during the show with Eva and E. Alex Jones, we just mentioned, Ron Paul, Jesse Ventura. I voted for Ron Paul, by the way. Jesse Ventura, Judge Napolitano. Is that the correct way? Napolitano. I watched his videos, and when he was on Fox, I was like, this guy cannot be on the mainstream media. How is he able to say this stuff? And sure enough,
I know, right?
sure enough, dude, like a month later, he's no longer on Fox, and it's been about a couple years now since he's been gone, correct?
Yeah, he had his own television show on Fox.
Yes.
And then, I guess once he became too vocal on his libertarian views, they shut it down. But they do bring him on quite often as a correspondent on several shows.
That's awesome, man. How do you feel about the mainstream media? Because we can poke at it now and again, but it seems to be controlled by an overwhelming amount of bullshit, like Brian Williams, who was just caught lying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if they were to do more investigations, they would find out tons of journalists lie. Even, Ted Koppel, who retired over him refusing to lie any further. So, I really think the mainstream media has this role with regards to propagandizing for the cabal and keeping the public, the majority, in the dark.
What does that mean? What does that mean for cabal? What is that?
Those that seek to destroy all that we are as Americans, as humans. Just their motive is to basically seek and destroy.
Is that intentional, or is that just because you're in the way? Like people that work at Walmart, now there's a machine that replaces them because we want to make more money. Sorry, we got machines to do the job.
No, it's definitely intentional, because if they did or were able to replace us all in every job with robots, then what role would we play, we the people play in society, especially amongst the elites, which seem to have everything provided for them,
Was it Rockefeller that said some sort of quote like, I want a nation of workers, not thinkers?
Exactly.
Wow,
you
that's
see
deep.
what I'm saying?
And these are the guys that, they control a large portion, of the money, the assets of this country.
Precisely. Always have and always will, or at least they are for the moment. But if we have our way with regards to auditing the Fed, I believe that would bring a lot of attention to the depth of the darkness of the banksters, So I really feel like it's up to we the people to really just stand up and refuse injustice any longer.
That's the beauty of what you're doing. And I like the question I believe E asked you. He said, how do we know you will not turn corrupt? And I like the answer that you brought up, because you said the answer is you won't know until you vote for me and see a dramatic change within 2 years. And if I can't make that change, I will resign. And that seems like the same answer Obama gave when he said, I'll run for the first 4 years, and if I can't change anything, I will step down.
But do you think 2 years is enough time granted
Great
to
question.
make any sort of dent into 100 years plus of corruption or whatever it may be?
Great question.
I mean, the reason I say that, because this is all across Mexico. I mean, this is, the PRI, which is kind of like Republicans, were in power over 100 years. It wasn't until the 90s that the other club
Eva, what do you
took
think?
over.
No,
That's why it really takes the power of us to stand united as a worldwide front against it. But I really feel like if you could throw a big enough monkey wrench into the machine, it could bring it to a grinding halt.
That's an awesome response. I like that.
No one has made the stand of refusing taxes altogether. If there was a politician that ever ran on a platform of just eliminating taxes while he was in office, just across the board, property tax, sales tax, of course, any personal taxes, just any taxes altogether, just a reprieve while that person is in office. No one has ever proposed that, and I'll be the first, and I will stand on that once I'm elected.
Where are you running again?
California, sir.
Awesome.
We got another call coming in. Stand by real quick, sir. Just give me one quick second. We have the one and only Chris from Stay Bold Radio is now connected in with E and Wildstar, the governor Wildstar, who's running in California this year. Or is it 2018? What year is it anyway?
2018.
2018. Yo, Chris, what up, man?
Oh, thanks for having me on the show again.
Hey,
and,
Chris.
And Eva's here too, so we have two of the Stay Bold Radio crew is here now. Yeah, it's great to be on the show. And so exactly what are we talking about right now?
We were talking about Governor Wildstar running for California and the corruption and what it takes to actually get into the minds, to get people to actually stand up and vote and join the forces of the movement. And Mike and Eva earlier stated that, I don't think Eva did, but we have to do it quietly. Or some people get turned off by the situation of us saying, wake the fuck up, it's time.
No, we never said quietly. You assumed that.
What did you say then?
We never answered.
No, you did. You said that we...
No, I just said that a lot of people will be turned off by that.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, but you were saying that we do it quietly.
Well,
That's not what I said.
What are you referring to when you say that people get
we're
turned
doing
off?
right. Well, if you were to go outside right now on the freeway and say 9/11 was an inside job, a lot of people are just going to look at you like, whatever. The thing
How do you know that?
I mean, okay, have you tried it?
Yeah, I've actually stood out on the freeway and had a sign that said Ron Paul on it. Vote for Ron Paul, and people would honk their horns and give me a thumbs up. People would honk their horns and give me a thumbs down. There's ways of doing it. You have to put it in people's faces to let them know that there's a message. I mean, the evil people are not going to stop doing it. This YOLO on people's T-shirts is not going to stop. This get money and fuck bitches is not going to stop. It's not going to end until we actually put up a fight.
Well, I guess holding up a sign. I guess holding up a sign during an election year is a little different than going on like a megaphone or going and screaming into people's faces when a lot of these people can't even comprehend.
You're assuming we're screaming in people's faces. I mean,
when you said that, you're
you could peacefully march and assemble and actually get it done. I mean, am I right or wrong on this, Eva? What do you think?
I think it can be done either way.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing that makes me and Mike are so open-minded to, is that you can come in different ways. We can reach people through the internet quietly, respectfully. We can get loud on the streets and say, wake the fuck up. We can do it all. So I'm trying to touch at every angle, reach the people that are not into hip-hop. Shoot, I'll get through their ears with my podcast. With the people that are into hip-hop, I'll get into their heads with hip-hop. There's many ways of attacking and getting the message out.
And that is the beauty of our First Amendment.
Correct.
And we do have to exercise it.
Beautifully
To
said.
the fullest.
And let me ask E, since he hasn't said anything in a minute. E, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Hey, brother, you eating a sandwich right now, or what are you doing?
I'm just listening at what everybody has to say, waiting my turn.
Yes, sir. And it's your turn now. What would you like to tell us out there? What can we do? We're all combining forces right now with 3 different shows: Stay Bold Radio, Open Your Mind Podcast, and NWO Truth Radio. What can we all do to spread this message and get awareness out there? Because I know Wildstar was talking about writing on money, spreading awareness, and the Fed. I love that. Like, what else can we do? Any other ideas that we can bring to the masses?
Well, I'm learning that social media is mighty effective because there's many mutual friends from this network and coalition network that just friended me in the last 2 seconds that I don't know who these people are, but they obviously now know who I am, but they're mutual friends of people I have. And that people are just like friending me right now. So they're in this movement, that I could tell that are in this movement.
It's
So
an energy,
social media
people attract.
is essential.
The
It's
domino
essential.
effect.
Yes.
It's totally effective. Yes, domino effect's another good word, little e. But also, if you know enough people, get out and meet people. But make sure you do it in the right area, because location is also effective. Because
okay.
my area, you also got to be careful who you talk to.
Yeah,
There's a lot of cop informants here.
Let's do a little rundown of questions of all of us to see if we all agree and we're all on the same level. Fluoride, yes or no? Let's start off with Mike.
Nay.
Eva.
No.
Wildstar.
My wife, who's a dental hygienist, would say, hell no.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Chris.
If you say yes, you're obviously on crack or something, so no.
Well, the argument of having fluoride in our water, which I've heard from a doctor stating that it's actually good for our teeth. And I'm like, but we're consuming it. It's not just going on our teeth. It's going into our bodies and what's inside of fluoride. So, okay, cool. Gay rights. I don't think I asked E though. E, what do you think about fluoride?
No.
Sure.
That was a good pause. He's like, no. Okay, gay rights. Let's go with Eva.
What two people do behind closed doors is up to them.
Beautiful. Mike?
Agreed.
Wait. What about a little boy that's 16 years old and a man that's an adult?
No.
No consent. He's a minor.
He's a minor. I mean, because once again, I mean, it's a double standard because at 18 you can join the military.
You could kill people.
And legally kill people.
And get paid.
Exactly.
Scary but true.
We'll give you housing.
Yes.
Okay, let's move it along. What about a man and a chicken? No, I'm just kidding. Let's go with Wildstar. What do you think about gay rights, sir? If you're going to run for governor, we're looking up at you for the answers. What are you going to go with?
I'm pro-choice all the way, across
Beautiful.
the board.
Mike?
I'm for it. If a man and a man want to get married and then get divorced because the rate is over 50%, let them do it.
Are we talking about gay marriage or just gay rights?
In general, I mean, that the rights they want is to be married.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
Exactly.
Chris, what do you think about yours? Because you have a lot of strong beliefs. I really look up to you, and you're only 16 years old. So what do you say?
I just turned 17 Saturday.
Happy
but
belated birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday.
I had a great bit.
Sorry.
You know what I have to say about the issue is that I have to say that I think that we should treat it like how people say that Russia goes too hard on it, but when you really look what they do is that they just make sure that they don't care what people do behind closed doors, like Eva said, and I think that should be the policy. But I don't think that we should we shouldn't be pushing this stuff on minors. We shouldn't be having these parades outside where they're wearing, where they're half naked outside. I don't think that should happen, and that's what Russia said.
Well, like I stated on a show we had on gay rights, I stated those are the extreme gay guys, and they don't represent all gay guys. And because they are extreme, it doesn't mean all gay people are that way. But I totally hear you on that. That's just as bad as KKK marching down the street and saying F niggers and having, I should have said F. Never mind.
Edit later.
Yeah, so I just think the whole idea of people being able to have freedom of speech is cool, even though they abuse it at times. But yeah, the nakedness, the swearing, it's really messed up. And what do we do about that? We can't do much. E, what do you think about gay rights?
Hey, man, what two people, straight or gay, do behind closed doors is none of my concern.
Beautiful.
It's none of my concern. I'm not there. But I like the one guy said that I talked before you, I just don't want it flaunted on the streets at parades.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's the extremist kind. They don't like that, but that's where I stand.
All right, let's get into police because we had 2 police officers on our show last week, and I think it's super important to talk about how we personally feel and ideas because you might teach me something that I didn't know. Let's start off with Wildstar. What do you think about Eric Gardner being choked and being actually killed and not any conviction? You know what Eric Gardner is? Because if you don't, it's cool. Just say pass.
I totally do. I actually have a coworker that's wearing his "I Can't Breathe" shirt today for Casual Friday.
Well,
I love that.
Wow, that's a statement.
Was that the Michael Brown? No, that was Eric Gardner.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Okay, cool. So what do you feel inside of your heart? What do you really feel like what happened went down? What do you feel like should have been done?
I think that officer should have went to jail or had faced the jury of his peers just as any other citizen would for killing another unarmed individual.
Minimum.
I really do feel like, pardon?
A minimum of doing at least that, or giving the guy, firing the guy from the department.
An opportunity to go to trial and have justice be served, which was denied altogether for Eric Gardner and his family. And I really feel like any person that was on top of another human being, if they were to express, "I can't breathe" to that person, they should get up, no matter if they're supposedly an authority or not. But what's really troubling to me is the public's reception of this case, because instead of getting up in arms and angry about it altogether, not just blacks, but all together, is because what if he actually recovered and then attacked the officers and the officer ended up getting killed? I'm pretty sure Eric Gardner would have been prosecuted and or faced some sort of criminal charges because of that. But because of the shoe being on the other foot, again, this person, innocent person, lost his life because of that. And now we, the people, have more, more, I guess, more room to kind of make up with regards to what has happened in our civil rights.
I just want to touch on that really quickly. Have you guys heard that resisting arrest was considered a misdemeanor in New York? They're trying to make it a felony now. That is crazy, right? After this incident, pretty much, it's having a domino effect in all sorts of, you had the protests, you had the riots. Now you have laws actually trying to get passed, which is pretty intense.
Let's go with E.
And that's disgusting, because who says what is resisting arrest? If an officer pulled up on you on the street while you're walking down the street and he said, hey, show me your ID, and you said no, you're now resisting arrest, according to that officer.
It's one's perspective.
Yeah, this is New York State. There's a reason why that this state is called the Empire State. Because in Star Wars terms, it was called a damn long time ago.
That's good, dude. That's funny. And what do you personally feel, since you are a native of New York?
Yeah. Even though I'm in the part of New York that's redneck Cincinnati, I can't believe what I see.
When you're walking through New York, do you feel like they can frisk you at any moment? Is that the law over there? They can just start patting you down and shit?
In this area, with the cops in this particular area have been decent to me. They're not like the cops everywhere else. I've dealt with them. Trust me, I can tell you stories that'll blow your freaking mind. The shit that I've done up here, guys, if I had done this in L.A., my ass would have got killed. I'm just going to leave that alone for another show.
Cool. Let's let Chris touch on that a little bit, dude, about Eric Garner or Michael Brown. Let's start to process into Michael Brown, because Michael Brown was connected to this, because a lot of people are pissed off about what happened to Michael Brown. So can anyone...
Yeah, most definitely.
It's one good thing that's resulted out of this is that I feel like Americans finally got vocal about this, or finally realized what this police state has done to this country, where police can shoot who they want, when they want, and they won't face retribution for this, and it's this is a microcosm of a nationwide problem of the state, of the state police getting too big, militarized, and it's becoming a militarized police force. It's really towards the eventually will be a martial law with the same police that killed Eric Garner and Michael Brown. And the thing is that it's the New York Police Department, for example. They have I believe many police departments have this system where you have. I had Ray Lewis, who was a cop from Philly, a police captain from Philly. He was talking about the system where they do a desensitization, or they see how desensitized you are, and you have to be. You can't be too sensitive, or else you won't be hired. And you can't have a certain score on your IQ test. Not the way you think too low, but too high.
Wow.
Because they want Then this Ray Lewis, who was a police captain in Philly, confirmed this on the show back at Stables Radio. Also, here's another thing: is our police are being trained by foreign forces, like the Mossad has trained different police forces to be.
Who is the Mossad for people that don't know?
The Palestinians.
Go ahead and ask them.
The Mossad are the Israeli Secret Service.
Yeah,
they are.
One thing I just want to say is that a lot of the references we're going to make, we all might understand, but there's a lot of listeners out there who don't get it yet, or they just don't know what it is. So just break down who they are and let us know why they're so bad.
Well, not only have the Israeli Secret Service, or aka the Mossad, I'm pretty sure that's their Hebrew name. The Mossad, they are probably maybe the most sneakiest intelligence force on the planet. They do everything from assassinations, kidnappings, to false flags, like they did at the USS Liberty, where the Mossad, Israel, along with the Mossad, had bombed USS Liberty intentionally, which was an American ship, and were planning on to blame it on the Egyptian forces to drag the United States into the 67 Arab-Israeli war. Mossad were spotted all throughout New York, including 60 Israeli nationals. Many were identified as Mossad agents on the day of 9/11, and they were almost all immediately released and sent back home to Israel. These people were in unmarked white vans, and one van, the most creepiest one, is the mural van, which had a picture of the Twin Towers on fire as it was going on. And this has all been kind of covered up and hidden over the years, and now nobody barely knows about this for the general populace.
Well, let's jump into it. What do we feel about 9/11? Because I stated on a conspiracy show we did 2 weeks ago that why don't they ever show us a picture of 3 buildings that went down? It always says, never forget. And they show 2 buildings. But you don't ever see Building 7, which went down as well. What is up with that? Eva?
I think they want to keep the main focus on the Twin Towers themselves. And once again, it's a major distraction. If we ask questions about Building 7, pull it, then we have to be silenced. And they're going to silence us anyway because questions are not good.
Beautiful. Wow. Eva's got some knowledge up there, and it's scary to say things like this because I go to work and I hear people talking casual about, the terrorists and 9/11 and ISIS is coming. And I'm like, dude, did you ever look into that besides just hearing it on the news? Wildstar, what is your opinion? Wildstar, are you there? Okay. E, what is your opinion? Looks like we lost Wildstar.
Yeah, they totally blew that shit up themselves. Like they did the whole Twin Towers themselves.
How can you say that,
behind the shadows, behind the curtain where it sort of went behind the Oz, they totally blew up Building 7 themselves.
Well, yeah, I watched a documentary where the owner of the building stated, yeah, we did put detonation in there so that we can get the building already had too much damage, basically. There was too much fallout from the other buildings, and apparently the fallout was causing too much damage, so they did, in fact, set detonators in there to take it down. But from what I've read, you cannot detonate a building like that in a matter of an hour or two. You have to know the blueprints. It takes like
a process. That takes time setting up all the proper checkpoints with the different bombs.
That's what I'm saying.
Because each detonation has to be set up at a certain checkpoint where all the different pillars are. And then you have to set up the charges, and then that takes time. That was a giant building.
Yeah, it was.
That will just take an hour. You ask any ex-military demolitionist.
Yeah. Mike, what did you say about it before? Wasn't something connected to a government?
The CIA. I mean, there was a lot of investigations, and it's just kind of rare because if you fast forward, it's kind of like with the IRS where they lost all their hard drives and the emails. Because, you can only blow up buildings so often. I think it's every, once in humanity, because planes have never taken down any sort of building. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I've seen a picture of different countries that had buildings were on fire. I don't know if they were ever hit by planes, but I know they were lit up on fire, and they stood on fire for days, and some of them for a week. These buildings have never collapsed. Chris, you want to touch on that?
There was that one in Madrid that was on fire for over a day or something like that, and it was completely engulfed in flames at one point, and yet that thing did not collapse. But yet 9/11, the Twin Towers collapsed after only a couple hours of being on fire. In fact, I think it was
But it was a jet fuel.
Yeah, and jet fuel can't even melt steel. It's impossible.
What about the Pentagon?
Impossible.
What about the Pentagon?
And what? The most secure building on the planet is probably the Pentagon. One of the most secure buildings on the planet, at least. That has so many cameras on it, but yet they can't get a clear picture of the plane actually coming in. And here's another thing: what kind of maneuver that is to bring a plane a couple feet off the ground and fly it into the Pentagon? These are supposed to be people that barely knew how to fly. These aren't experienced pilots that have been 30 years in, that have been 30 years flying.
But all the bodies and the plane was incinerated by the jet fuel. I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic. But I'm just saying, this is what they're telling us. I mean, it's just kind of like with the CIA. Did you torture? No. Then the report comes out yeah, well, we kind of did. It's just I think it was today or recently that Russia was declaring that they were going to prove that 9/11 was an inside job, that they had some sort of satellite photographs. I don't know if it's true or if it's just hearsay because of all the financial sanctions that America has been doing. But what's your take on that?
I think they already gave the information just recently. I mean, they've shown satellite pictures and stuff like that. That was the evidence, and it showed that didn't happen, that there's an account of the story. But talk about the Pentagon again, the most secure building on the planet. All we have is that unclear footage of just of the explosion, and it probably was just a bomb. I mean, the only person that walked out that Pentagon hole where the plane supposedly crashed, she said that she didn't see any evidence that a plane had crashed. There
Wasn't that
no
side of the Pentagon
body.
reinforced allegedly? The only side of that whole Pentagon, the 5 sides, that was the only reinforced side. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Wow. Okay.
And
What a
yet-
coincidence.
And was it also true that DARPA was also doing the same test drives pretty much with the Army, Marines, or whoever it may be, that they were having drills that the Pentagon was getting attacked as well as the World Trade Center? Is that correct?
They were having drills the same day. In fact, I think that the Air Force has drawn out a lot of them out into the Atlantic Ocean, and they were away from the continental United States. And then remember, one of the biggest smoking guns is that NORAD was told to stand down as the event was happening. There was no fighter jets scrambled, which, usually if we were going to policy, they would consider whatever damage that could be done, hundreds of thousands being killed compared to 500 being killed. They would have shot down those airliners. That would be their normal policy. And they would have fighter jets after the airliners in a second.
But we have the best military in the world, right?
And that's a great point that
supposedly
Jesse Ventura brings up. He says, like, how can 8 Muslims with box cutters take down the best national defense that we have in the world? It sounds kind of crazy from a man who's in the mountains with diabetes, dialysis.
Dialysis, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
If I may say something,
Of course.
say it, Biggie.
before 9/11 even happened, let's not forget when Bill Cooper was still alive before he was shot in the stomach in November 2001. Bill Cooper, before 9/11 happened, knew something was going to happen in America. Some terrorist attack was going to happen. Some false flag was going to happen. And knew, based on the headlines alone, that Osama bin Laden was going to be blamed for it. Now, one of the things that he said, one of the things that took place was, he said that the CIA said that they didn't know where bin Laden was. Didn't know where he was. They were looking all over the planet for bin Laden, they said, according to the CIA.
Yep.
As said Bill Cooper. Now, he claims that some CNN reporter found him in 3 weeks in his hideout.
Right. Oh, I remember that. They interviewed the guy, right?
CIA, they interviewed him, walked by his front door and interviewed him.
I remember that.
CIA can't find bin Laden, but some jerk-off news reporter walks right in the front door and interviews him.
Hey, but you know what?
Well,
Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent, so why would the
That's
CIA
right.
be looking for someone that works in the CIA?
He's on their payroll.
Not at all. It's how much. It's not what you don't know. It's what you're supposed to know. A lot of people don't know that bin Laden was CIA. A lot of people don't know that the Mujahideen was trained by the CIA. A lot of people don't know that Taliban was trained by CIA. A lot of people don't know that Al Qaeda was trained by CIA.
And why would they do that?
The Russians.
Don't know
Yeah, that's what-
that ICE was trained by CIA. So all in a row, we got Al Qaeda.
And Israel.
Wow, great point there, E. Chris, interject, 'cause I keep hearing you want to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Well, yes, this has been a plan of the United States since 1970, since the Carter administration. They've been funding these sketchy Islamist groups like the Mujahideen, later became the Taliban, Al Qaeda, and then later they've been helping Al Qaeda and Al Nusra in Syria right now.
So you're
They've
losing
been
me every
trying
time you start bringing up these names. I'm like, what? Where are these guys? Because you've done your research, but for us, dude, we're into like Cheetos and like the football games. Like we don't know.
Katy Perry.
Yeah, like, this is like a whole nother language to me, and I really, really appreciate that you're taking the time to find out the information instead of wasting your time like many of us do.
And I have to give Chris total complete props. He is
Correct.
17 years
Yes.
old, and he is one of the most intelligent young men that I have ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that.
Could you
I
imagine
concur.
if more of us? I mean, every high school there was kids like Chris walking around.
Even one.
Yeah.
One out of every
Yeah.
high school. What
Well-
a difference it would make.
Well, I'm sure there is one, but I'm saying if all of them were like that, we'd have a completely different country.
Oh, we sure would. I thank you, Chris.
Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, honestly, as a high schooler right now, I can see the problems. I can see what has people distracted. It's just, this lamestream culture of, the current rappers that are promoting nothing but, consumerism. That's all I see. I just see consumerism,
What is that movie?
everywhere.
What is that movie called? And he wears the glasses and everything like starts to become obvious of consume. He looks at the magazines with these special glasses, and instead of seeing a magazine that says the news on it, it says lies or something on it. And he looks at the billboard. You never seen this movie?
I don't think so.
What was that, E?
No.
What was that movie?
What's that movie called though?
Oh, that movie? It's called They Live.
Yeah, They
Oh,
Live.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Eva, you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, it's so cool. And this movie was like back in the 80s, right, E? Break it down for us. What the hell is that?
What the hell?
All I hear is-
What the hell?
That's all I heard. I was like, what?
Roddy Piper and Danny Glover.
Yeah, and basically this movie was back in the 80s, and this dude finds like a box of glasses, correct? And he
They
puts...
Live. That's the name.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's what it's called.
he's walking through the city, right? And he puts these glasses on, and he looks at the newspaper because there's a newspaper stand, and he looks at the newspaper, and he's like, it shows instead of the news.
The signs, the billboards, everything.
Yeah, and then there's a woman wearing on a billboard. She's wearing an outfit, and it says like Gucci on it. And then he puts the glasses on, and it shows the woman as a skeleton, and on the Gucci it says consume. It's crazy cool, man. That movie is awesome.
Excuse
And
me.
then he puts the glasses on. He puts the glasses on, right? And he sees a woman. He sees what appears to be an old woman at first before he puts the glasses on. But then when he puts the glasses on, he sees one of the aliens putting on perfume. He's like, right, Piper? He said, that's like putting perfume on a pig.
Eva, you want to say
And
something?
then he shoots it.
Yes, I just received a text
go ahead.
message from Governor Wildstar, and he wanted to thank everyone for allowing him to be on the show.
Oh, definitely.
And his sincere apology, but he did have to get back to work.
It's all good. Just
Yeah.
for him calling for that 5 minutes or whatever he did, it was awesome because I want to get him on the show. He's in California. I'm in California. He's in Fullerton, I believe. Come through. We're right down the street, dude. We're right next to Disneyland. Come through and hang out with us, and we'll go visit Mickey Mouse. So let's get to the next subject. What do you guys feel about the music industry?
Oh, it's great. Kanye should have won though.
I'm gonna let you speak right now. But Beyonce had a beautiful. What did you say? Fuck that guy.
He's a nerd.
Let's go with E. What do you guys feel about the music industry and who's in control of the music industry and what is it doing to our population? Let me ask you this, E. What kind of music? What kind of music do you like, E?
I mainly like music that I grew up on when I was younger, in the late 80s, early 90s. That's my genre.
And what do you have? Give me an artist.
Oh God,
Usher.
I like
New Kids on the Block.
Nazareth. I like Nazareth.
Cool. I don't know who that is, but who else?
Old metal.
Old metal.
I like Nirvana.
Rock on.
Okay.
I like classic rap, like the old rap from back in the day.
Despite
Ice
all my
Baby.
rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. That shit's hard
I
right
like
there.
Smashing Pumpkins. Yes, I do. I like Rage Against the Machine.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
What about System of a Down, motherfucker?
I've seen both of them live. They're awesome. Man.
That came out much later, but yes, I do like that.
They're trying to build a prison. They're trying to build a prison.
The lead singer of System of a Down actually went solo. He's actually doing his own stuff,
Cool.
and I actually like his music.
Chris, what about
But
you?
now I'm hoping to get into more truth music, getting in more listening to truth music.
Immortal
like
Technique.
Elias Clay, Ghost Rider, the more truthful form of music.
Yeah, the one that has a message to
Trying
it.
to get out of all that Illuminati deception and the old stuff.
Yes, sir. Chris, what about you? What kind of music do you like?
No, I'll listen to the old classic stuff. Motley Crue, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, ZZ Top, Guns N' Roses, and then of course there's some of the newer stuff that's But I don't listen to Jay-Z or any of that. I'll listen to Immortal Technique.
Yeah, Jay-Z sucks balls.
Mortal Technique's dope.
Green Thumb, who sent me a message right now, he likes Kenny Rogers. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm reading your
Kenny
messages,
Rogers.
motherfucker. And that's Kenny Rogers. Is he good? I never heard of it.
He's country, is that correct?
Yes.
Country has a lot of great
I'm a
messages. If you want a
cowboy.
good message in music, you listen to some country
You
music.
gotta know when to hold them.
Yeah.
Know when to fold them.
I saw that commercial. It's so annoying. I'm like, well, I don't.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this
Hey,
is.
he's still getting paid.
I guess that's what it's all about.
Commercials.
Kid Rock. What about Kid Rock? Is he good? Does he have a message to his
You know,
shit?
the only thing I do, I give Kid Rock props.
Concert this season in Beverwood Center for the Arts, and it was Kid Rock. Free tickets.
It's all about the free tickets.
I went to the last concert of the season, and that was the one I saw.
Word. Eva, what do you listen to?
I listen to underground music.
Oh, what?
Payday Monsanto,
DJ Lou.
Elias Clay, like Ian, and Diesel Automatic.
Cool. That's awesome. Do they have a real message, or they just
Pola the White.
okay? I never heard of any of those artists, but I'll say they're awesome.
Yes, they all have messages.
Mike, what about you, brother man?
Oh, I listen to music. I don't like to break it down to genres.
Come on, you like Bob Marley though?
Yeah, I know. That's why I say I listen to music. I mean, I listen to jazz. I listen to a lot of hip hop. I listen to Vicente Fernandez, which is Spanish music.
Well, those are all
Maná,
genres.
Rock. It's all music though. The thing is, a lot of people, if you go into somebody's car and they put on a song like, rap music, country music.
You're talking about stereotypes.
And I'm just kind of like, okay, like it's music. Like, let me listen to the beat. Let me listen to the lyrics. Like lately when I'm in the car, I'm just like repeating the message that the person is saying and I can't believe it that this is on the mainstream and the masses, but it's obviously there's an agenda behind it.
Definitely, and it's all run by money corporations that run the show. I watched this documentary where there was Coca-Cola that was sponsoring a music video, and they paid people to come in, and they made it look all fancy, like everyone was into it, but it was all paid for and bought by the corporations who run the show. And it really pisses me off when I see Beyonce on the radio, Kanye West, these constant repetitive songs, like Usher, for an example, and I go to a local theme park, and they're playing Usher for little kids to dance to. And it's a lovable song. Don't get me wrong. It's a good song with a positive message. But then when I turn on the radio, I'm hearing Usher again saying, "It's all right if you want to be a stripper because I know how it is." And I'm like, well, people that like the little kids that like Usher that were dancing to him now are gonna like Usher for the stripper song because they like Usher. And that's the problem where we mixed up the music videos killed the radio star or whatever, however that fucking song goes. Beautiful. Beautifully said. Let's get on to the next topic. Let's talk about the Constitution and our amendments.
Before we go to the next topic, can I recommend like a cool video, like YouTube search for everybody for research?
Sure.
Definitely.
Since we were on the topic of music.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I recommend this guy, Professor Griff.
Oh,
For
yeah.
those of you that don't know who he was.
Public Enemy.
He was one of the founding members of Public Enemy.
Yes,
when
sir.
Public Enemy was out back in the day. Before hip-hop was destroyed with the whole gangster
It
rap
actually had a
era.
message.
Yep.
When hip-hop was really good,
Yep.
back in the early 80s, late 80s, before gangster rap destroyed it.
Yep.
And
Corporations.
And look up how he talks about, look up his research, and when he talks about how the Illuminati destroyed hip-hop through gangster rap. And he talks all about it.
It was all an agenda by rich white men who wanted to see black people fighting black people to destroy what Martin Luther King was building. Martin Luther King was trying to get us together. NWA separated the black people.
But their movie's coming out soon.
Fuck
Make sure
them.
you watch it.
I'll watch it just to see. Just
Dr. Red talks an awful lot about that, man, and he is really awesome. I love a lot of what he teaches, a lot of what he speaks on.
I've actually been able to see Public Enemy live, and I actually met Chuck D and got something signed by him. So yeah, Public Enemy definitely.
Do you have a picture?
Awesome. I have it. I'll put it. I'll
no
post
proof,
it up.
no evidence.
I'll bring it into the next show.
Hey, let me get back into the Constitution because that is the core of why we can speak right now. Chris can speak to us on the phone. E can speak to us on the phone. Little E can sit here on the podcast with us and break down why we feel the way we feel without someone coming in here chopping our hands off and chopping our heads off for the way that we feel. Because that's exactly what I do. I speak how I feel. I don't fucking pretend. I don't make up shit just because I want you to be my friend. I say what I feel, and I'm going to continue to do that because I know what's right and what's wrong. And it's not about who's right, but who's left, if you get what I'm saying. So the Constitution, First Amendment. Who knows what the First Amendment is? Let's go with Chris.
Freedom of speech.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So freedom of speech, however, is like people say we have this in this country today. We do have the right to freedom of speech. But however, what if we do freedom of speech, our government retaliates on us. You can't. They have so many rules. These little free speech zones. That's not the whole point of free speech. Is that we don't have free speech zones. You just have free speech anywhere. Besides the obvious exception to slander, or if it's used for harmful matter, like you yell fire in a movie theater. But
fire! Oh wow!
I don't know if we
Show
do
the camera.
that, but what I'm saying is that we don't have free speech in this country anymore. They have trampled on it. They have trampled on it. They have done so many revisions, like free speech upset, free speech except here, free speech except here. It's like they would just have an asterisk, and it's like terms and conditions apply here for these freedom of speech.
Well, it's understandable if you're making a threat. That's not freedom of speech. That is an actual threat. You're actually threatening to kill someone. That's what I always stress, and I've stressed to you on Facebook, Chris, that, hey, be careful what you say when you say something that you want someone to disappear off this earth, because it can be used as a threat. So you got to be very careful what you say, because it can and will be used against you in the court of law. Especially you, Big E, with your sandwich eating and outbursts.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes, exactly.
I was not eating a sandwich.
It was a burrito, whatever. I listen to your guys' show. I'm a big fan. I think you guys, I'm a big fan of anyone who's spreading a message of awareness, consciousness, and history. And that's exactly what we do here at Open Your Minds podcast. We continue without giving a rat's ass whether you judge us or not. We are here to remind you, open your mind to the fact that you may have been lied to your whole entire life. Let's move on to the Second Amendment. Mike, what is that?
That would be the right to bear arms, and also withhold the militia within the country, to pretty much oppose any.
You want to do Fourth Amendment, Eva? All right, we'll hold that for you. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. We all have the right to bear arms. Now, there is a fine line if you want to carry a Uzi around a theme park. It looks a little weird. You got to be careful about where you decide to carry.
You got to be careful with fake guns out in public these days, because, they look just like replicas. They have the little orange tip, but they take them off or they paint them. And,
little boy was just killed for it.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Third Amendment, I don't even know what that is. I think that's the due process. E, do you know what that is?
I'm trying to remember. Hold on.
I know it.
Chris.
It's quartering, meaning that soldiers. It might come in effect when we have martial law, but saying that soldiers can't come and be like, "Hey, I want to crash in your house for the night."
That's right. You are a brainiac. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
He's awesome. This guy's a brain. He's got. Here's what Chris has. Average people have an old school megabyte computer in their brains where they have to use floppy disks to find data, where Chris has an upgraded 16 gigs of RAM, 5 terabytes of memory. This guy is a beast. And I'm giving you mad props, dude, because I look at you and I go, this guy is changed. This guy is someone I'd vote for. You better become a politician and change the game, brother. Let's go with the Fourth Amendment. Eva.
That is illegal search and seizure.
Yes. Same thing what happened with Wildstar. Officer came over, started looking inside of his window, illegally trying to search his car, and the cop says, well, I can look wherever I want. It's like, dude, why are you pulling me over in the first place? Your lights are not even on. First of all, if you want to pull me over, your lights have to be on to indicate you're pulling me over.
Did he give him any probable cause?
Absolutely not.
The probable cause was that he was at another gas station walking around.
Well,
and he's a black man.
Exactly.
In Fullerton,
he was breathing.
Wow. well, this
he
is
farted.
This is Orange County, just so people know. It's like a 2% African Americans in Orange County. So,
California.
No, in Orange County though.
Orange County's in California.
Pretty sad.
Yeah, which is, considering that we're under Los Angeles, it's really sad, actually.
He looks like a member of the NWA. Let's pull him over. And I got nothing wrong with cops, but I got something wrong with cops that are prejudiced as fuck. Fuck you. And let's go back to the Fifth Amendment. That I know. It's the right to not say anything at all. Someone pulls you over, you don't have to say shit. I always tell my teacher at school, if someone's making you feel like crap at school, your teachers, don't say anything. They ask you questions, don't say anything. They send you to the principal, don't say anything. You wait for me to show up, and I'll be your lawyer. And that's the thing that a lot of us don't get. We have lawyers. We have family members that know the law. We have real lawyers that know the law. And we have people that study criminology like myself who know the law. So get yourself a penal code book, and learn the law, motherfuckers. All right.
I think that's of vital importance. To know the law, know your rights, exercise your rights at any and every given time. do not cower down to these people.
Yeah, because
we employ them.
Eva, say it like you mean it. We employ them.
We employ them, damn it.
Yeah, police are to protect and to serve. To protect and to serve. They are a servant, and they're here to protect us. And if they don't do their fucking job, then they should be fired. So, beautiful. E, you want to say something, brother?
I got 6.
What's 6?
The Sixth Amendment?
Right to a fair trial.
Yep. Yeah, I went to we got 1 minute and 13 seconds left before we go to the break, but I actually went to court for a parking, what is it, a U-turn that I made incorrectly. An officer pulled me over, gave me a ticket. He actually didn't pull me over. He was standing right by me, and he told me to pull my car over, and I took it to court. Everyone that I saw in court was not dressed professional. They had no idea how to act in court. I came in with a suit and a briefcase, and the judge, one by one, was asking everyone, do you waive your rights? Every one of them said, yeah. When he got to me, the 6th person, I said, no. He said, well, how do you plan on paying this? I said, I don't know. He said, well, you have to pay this in order for this to happen. I said, well, what if I don't? He looked at me like he was confused. He went back to his backdoor quarters. He came back out and said, we'll waive the fee, just come back to court, and we'll go through trial. And I won that because the officer never showed up because I was right. You do have rights. Exercise your rights. And we're going to go to a quick break. Hey, everybody. We're back. Open Your Minds podcast with Mike G in the spot. And we have the one and only Eva in the spot. How you guys doing?
Good.
You guys feeling good?
I'm feeling great.
Great. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start off the conversation with religion. Let's go around the table here. Eva, what is your belief system, if I might ask you?
I love the Lord, but I detest organized religion. As you know, I was a caller in on one of your shows, and I told you that I was born and raised in the Catholic cult. Various reasons why I don't like organized religion, and it's not only, Catholicism, it's other religions as well.
Did you sing songs like that?
When I was in the Catholic school, actually, no. We had other songs that we sang.
I kind of like that music, to be honest with you. It seemed like I was making a mockery of it, but I really like the whole idea. Is I was once blind to my bad ways, and now I see I can make it a positive way. You know what I mean?
But can you not take that in almost every facet of life?
Yeah, definitely. But that's what I mean. Like, even in this society, it's a culture. We love to say that we're free and all that, but we're subjected to a culture that we implement every day, whether it's eating fast food, whether you're on the freeway, whether you're swearing, using the cool words like, God damn it, or fucking. We all do that shit. So, I mean, for us to say that we're completely disconnected, like me, who I like to trick my brain and say I don't watch TV, so I'm not a part of that. I don't like this music, so I'm not a part of that. I'm actually doing the right thing, but... Dude, I eat burgers like every day. I say silly things that I shouldn't say sometimes, and I want to change that about myself, and at least I can point that out about myself. It's like drawing on a whiteboard, going, this problem here, you need to figure this problem out, start brainstorming your own self-being. I try to do that with myself, and I'm only a human being, and that's a limitation because, that's why I think the spiritual part of me is saying keep fighting, keep doing what you love to do. We're making an oath here to continue to spread awareness, me and Mike and yourself and Stay Bold Radio. We're all putting our minds together to say, let's make a difference. And whether it affects one person or a million people, we're doing a job, and we love to do it, right?
Yes.
And that's what it's about, loving to spread awareness. And I feel like as an agnostic, I feel like I don't know all the answers, and I'm not trying to find all the answers. But what I'm trying to do is reason. Make reason. Why is that gang member wearing tattoos? Why is that gang member always violent? Why? Well, maybe because he never had parents. Maybe because he was influenced by other people to become a gang member. Maybe because he heard a song that makes him feel a certain way to do something that may cause him harm later on down the road. Maybe he made a song that I hear a lot of gangster rap songs, not the radio ones, like local ones, gang members that are local, and they constantly brag about their city, brag about their set. You know, I'm from this set. What you want to do? And that type of information is no good to anyone except for them. And it's still not good for them because the retaliation, the repercussions, which Nick would always state on a previous show, your actions, what happens for your actions is the responsibility that you have to deal with.
How many teardrops do you have running down your cheek in a tattoo?
Exactly. And that's bragging rights in jail. But in jail, you're subjected to a bunch of men who want to have sex with you. It's nothing positive. This is what I try to get. And I used to argue with my cousin because I was like, I went to jail for like 4 days. He's like, well, I went to jail for 3 months. I've done time. I'm like, who is proud of that? Why are you proud to be in a cage where you have to take a shit in front of 5 different dudes? And where does that attitude come from?
Exactly. You're
Movies.
told when to get up, when to go to sleep, when you can eat, when you can go to the bathroom. Everything, your whole being is taken away
Not
from
only
you,
that, you know,
and it is ruled by somebody else.
Yeah.
It's also a moneymaker.
Oh, very
Right?
much so.
One thing, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but with Canteen, you know, or even just to take a collect call, you got to put money on the phone. Like
What's Canteen?
Canteen is when you're locked up. You know, it's kind of like the little store, I would say, like a right.
Okay.
Canteen.
And I've only been in a holding cell, okay?
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't been
That's
in
what
a
I was
big
in.
house.
Okay, well,
But I happened to get arrested on a Friday, and Monday was a holiday, so I spent about
that sucks for you, Lou.
4 days in a holding cell with 4 other dudes that we had to share a toilet together, and I didn't take a dump because I was like, this is embarrassing. I do not want to use the toilet in front of 4 different dudes. It was weird.
Oh,
And-
it's very embarrassing.
And for people that have never been to jail that want to take pride in going to jail one day, you're sleeping on a mattress that is like 2 inches big, and it's really thin. There's no cushion. You're getting fed crap. You know, jail is nowhere you want to be. But there's a lot of guys have been tricked to believe going to jail is prideful and you earn stripes.
They're career criminals just to get what is it, 3 hots and a cot?
wasn't it the biggest race game in the world? Is the prisons? I mean, everybody sticks to their race. Out on the streets, they're from different gangs, but as soon as they're locked up, they all run with whoever they.
Well, yeah, to a certain point. I think a lot has to do with what you're slinging in jail too. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have connections for, say, cigarettes.
Eva's got some experience. Yeah. I just want to make 2 different.
Holding cell. Okay, that's
she goes in there. She's like, "What up, yo? This is white pride, motherfuckers." I want to make 2 different points. One of them was I used to work at a temp agency, and I remember having to give a guy, because when you work at a temp agency, there's other guys waiting for work, and a guy would get in my van, and I give him a ride. And I remember saying, like, man, like, being a cop would be kind of cool. He's like, nah, man. He's like, killing a cop would be kind of cool. I'm like, what? I'm like, but dude, then you'd go to jail. He's like, yeah, but you'd get respect in there. I'm like, what the fuck? That was just very disturbing to me. And another thing I wanted to bring up was, why is it when you go to a correctional facility to correct the behavior, they separate you by race? Yes. You blacks over here, whites over here, gays over here, Mexicans over here. That's just bringing out the anger out of you, the war that we have on our streets, because it's all starting in the prisons. And then you get out of the prison, suddenly, fuck them black dudes, fuck them white dudes. Well, that was indoctrinated. That's a belief system created in jail, and jail's supposed to correct your behavior, not make it worse. That's all I'm saying. Any rebuttals? Chris, what up, man? I know you're tuning in right now, bro. What's up?
Okay, well, I'm a little bit upset because of what I just saw on Facebook right now.
What did I do?
There's this little cute little video of Obama trying to dip his cookie in milk or something like that. Literally, something like that. I just mentioned it's like, oh, I wonder if he took a break from drone striking little kids and flooding neo-Nazis in Ukraine. And then some people got real pissed off, and I tried to explain it, and they're like, it's like, give us some credible info. I was giving them credible info from Al Jazeera, which is not, I don't really even consider them credible because they have a Western bias.
Yeah.
From Wikipedia, which showed Operation Cyclone, which I was talking about the funding of terrorists in the Middle East. And these are just a bunch of brainwashed JROTC kids from high school. And then and this girl I like just turned on me, and she started liking their comments, and now I'm really pissed off. I'm like, I'm really sick to my stomach right now.
Well, hold on, Chris. Chris, let me calm your brain down, okay? Listen to my words right now, because I've been in that situation before. I've been attacked by 3 or 4 different people, and it doesn't feel good at all. Let me tell you one thing. That's just 4 people out of 6 billion people on this planet, okay? Let's start there. That's not even 1% of the population, dude. That's not even 1% of 1% of the population. So you really got to grasp right now that these people are not awakened to the fact. And everywhere I go at work, everywhere I go on the streets, everywhere I go, I'm feeling like you feel. I feel like I don't fit in here because I feel like no one's paying attention. So don't try to rebuttal with people that don't want to hear it. First of all, they don't have the education to open their minds to actually reason with what you're saying. They don't have the capacity to actually take the time to look at what you're sending them and open a mind. They already have their bias. They're already biased over the whole situation. So they're not going to open their minds to this point. So what you have to do is be patient and continue to say what you got to say. Do not let them win by stupid remarks. Oh, you're just a 17-year-old kid. Shut the F up.
That kind of goes back to the beginning of the show where I was saying, like, people that just go out there, like you put certain comments, like some people, they just don't know how to react to it. And Lou exactly nailed that one right there.
He did. Yay, Lou.
I like nailing stuff. So, Chris,
Score.
let's get into some more things though. I mean, because you're feeling bad, bro. What would you like to say, man? What would you like to let them know? What would you like to break down to those people that are not listening to you? Where here we are, 3 people in a room, have all ears on you, bro.
You know what I have to say is that I get the point. You know, it's like Morpheus said. It's one of the most, you know, this quote comes back to me every now and then, and I think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that really makes the most sense, and it really breaks down what the situation, what to do in the situation is. I can show them the door, I can show them the path, but you have to walk through it. You know, he says, I can show you the door, but you have to walk through it when he's talking to Neo about taking the blue or the red pill. And so much truth in it. You know, so many quotes of truth, and it just reminds me of parallels to the situation in the United States. It's like a matrix that everybody is blinded by their corporate media that they put, you know, this false image of what America really is. They think that, you know, best country on the planet. It's a democracy. It's the freest country on the planet, but it's not even close. Or that we're the most prosperous country on the planet. That we do the most amount of good around the planet. You know, but really we're hijacked by a corporate fascist government that also has a lot of money coming from Israel via the APAC, and it's doing the dirty deeds of these elites. That's what America's military is doing. And that's why I see all these JRPC kids are going to, a couple of years, they already signed up. Every time there's military recruiters, there's a big line. I mean, this school's going to have probably 40% of the school going into the military or something like that.
Yes, sir.
It's
You
really
just said a mouthful. Hold that thought really quick because I want to slow down what you're saying. You're giving out a lot of information to the masses right now, and you wonder why they're like, "What are you talking about, man? You don't know what you're saying," because you're saying so much input that they are barely starting to learn this process, Chris. We got E back online with us, and my good friend Scooter is back on the phone with us. Welcome, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good. Beware of the military-industrial complex.
Yes, sir. Eisenhower. What was that guy's name, Mike?
Correct.
Eisenhower?
Eisenhower. Yeah.
Eisenhower warned us about this.
Dwight
Dwight Eisenhower, our president, before he left office, warned us about a group of people in the military complex that wanted to change, that wanted to put money over things and build something that we weren't ready for, and it's already happened. There's not much we can do now. When I see robotic cheetahs on YouTube that run just as fast as a cheetah, or I see a robot that they kick and it has balance so that it doesn't fall.
DARPA.
It's amazing. Like, they're 10 years, 20 years in advance.
It looks like the same damn cheetah on Transformers that comes out of that boombox
Transformers, robots in disguise. Yeah, definitely. Scooter, welcome to the show, brother. How you been?
I've been good, man. I feel bad for our buddy over there. He's passionate about what he's doing, and people just aren't listening. But I understand what you kind of hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
Just
Scooter, turn up your phone volume just a little bit more because E's louder than you and Chris is louder than you, and you sound very low, and it's gonna sound like shit on the podcast. So just turn it up a little bit more if you can. There's like a button on your phone that you can turn up the volume so that you sound a little bit louder.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, I just feel bad for him because he's trying to get out to the masses. But the only thing that I can say to him is you can't run. Sorry, that sounded messed up. You got to teach a kid how to walk before you can teach him how to run. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah. I mean, I know. I think that sometimes I do get a little bit too. You know, I start talking to them at a level of how I would talk to people that already have some of the basis, like how I would talk on my show. Because on my show, usually with me, my co-host Al, and my and also my other co-host Michael. I mean, we all have a background, especially my friend Al, who's been doing, he's now 30 and he's been doing it since almost my age, activism. So,
Chris, can I give you a little bit? Chris, can I give you a little bit of advice when you're talking to people, not only at high school, but when you're doing your show? Not that I don't like your show. I think your show's excellent. I can understand your show. What I'm trying to say is that when you're talking to an audience, because you're sitting in a room with Al, who's a good guy who can actually understand what you're saying, you got to remember that the people that are listening to you, they might not be on the same level. So whenever I even do this show, Mike, we both got the understanding that we might be talking to kids in junior high. We might be talking to kids in high school. We might be talking to kids in elementary. We don't know. But the thing that we want to do is break it down so that they could understand us. So when you say words like APAC, when you say words that are way beyond our comprehension, you're losing minds at that point. So you got to let people know what APAC is. I don't even think I know what APAC is. What is APAC?
American Israeli Public Affairs Committee. Biggest lobby in the United States.
And what do they do? Slow down. What do they do?
They lobby for Israeli interests of the Israeli government.
And what is lobbying? You see what I'm saying? You already said lobby. A lot of people don't even know what that means. What does lobbying mean?
And pretty much what they do is they do legalized bribery. That's all lobbying is giving funds or make gifts in exchange for some kind of policy agreement. And APAC, this lobby group, this bribery group, comes around a big every time there's the talk of war in the Middle East. You see Obama has a very different attitude than you might see him on TV when he goes to these APAC, meetings, and all of a sudden he's now talking about no options off the table, and that's code for war is on the table. We might nuke them when they say no options off the table.
Yeah, well, I'm looking up the word lobby right now on the definition of it, and it says lobbying is to seek to influence a politician or public official on an issue. What the hell was that? I heard a meh, meh. That alone. Hey, you're interrupting the show, Eeg. Stop that. So lobbying is basically, you said the correct term when it comes down to the deep root of it, but how the hell can you seek to influence someone? Shouldn't it be that person's stance? Why are people interfering with that person's stance? If we vote for Governor Wildstar, and someone's lobbying to change his influence to make him think a different way, what the fuck's up with that? That's not what it's about. It's about what he said and what we voted for. Not for someone to come along and say, let me give you some money. We want you to do this. That's fucked up, right? Right or wrong? E, what do you think? Meep, meep. Turn up your phone there. All right, man. Word. So let's get back into, we talked about religion, but I kind of want to wrap it with Scooter, Eva, and Chris, who's on the phone. What are your guys' stance on religious beliefs? I'm going to go with Scooter first.
I'd have to say for me, what I believe is what I believe, and what other people believe is what other people believe, and I try to respect what they believe because I might have something to learn.
But what you believe might be the best solution for humanity, for our society, and that sounds like I had friends that were saying we don't need a leader. What we need is to just, we don't need government. What we need is just to be ourselves and be independent and free. And I'm like, but dude, where does that start? It starts from an idea, and we all follow that. Believe it or not, we have to be sheep at some point. There's no way around it. So when you say it's your own belief, are you saying you want to keep it confidential? Because that's fine.
No. I mean, for me, if you want me to get into detail, I believe that there is a higher power. Now, do I know what that is? No. Am I going to try stuffing it down somebody's throat and say Matthew 3:16? Shouldn't say fuck? No. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, sometimes I think to myself, because I'm a very analytical thinker, maybe religion was put here because if we didn't have religion, it was like the original government that, if we didn't have it, it would be chaos.
And what is an analytical thinker? What's that?
Well, I think about every angle, right, wrong, and different.
You're open-minded.
So forth. You're very true, very true.
And I love that about you because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
See that? We think alike.
It's proven.
I was going to say, I bet all of us are analytical thinkers. We sit there and think about what other people say and why they might have said it.
I don't think Chris
And
does.
that's how we.
Chris,
Chris
what?
is awesomely special.
Yeah, yes. Chris, what is your religious stance? I'm taking it Scooter's a Christian.
What? What are you asking? What I think of religion, or what am I actually? What are my religious beliefs?
I have a feeling that you are an atheist, sir.
I'm not an atheist, actually. I am. I do believe in a superior power. Yes. Do I believe in any? Do I really believe in any organized religion? I used to be a Catholic when I was little. I was raised as that, but I'm not a Catholic anymore.
How do your parents feel about that?
And why did I move away from that? Because I'm against, I'm against the Vatican. The Vatican is very shadowy to me. There's a lot of.
What you're attacking here, I'm asking you what's your belief system, and you're going off on what other things are belief systems. I'm asking you because I believe in you, and I believe in E, and I believe in Eva, and I believe in Mike, and I definitely believe in Scooter because he has guns.
I mean, honestly, what I believe about religion as a whole is that I believe in freedom of religion, to the fullest extent. I believe that we should. I believe that we should have all religions allowed, just like our founding fathers said in the Constitution, and there should be no one preferred and no one repressed. But to me, I don't think I have an exact label of what you can call me, because agnostic means I'm not sure if I believe in God. I do believe in God.
No. Agnostic means that you believe in a higher power. You just don't know what that is. Correct, Scooter?
I mean, I thought agnostic meant that that you weren't sure if you believed in a higher power. You weren't just.
Let me look it up real quick. E, what about you? Because I mean, I'm not getting any answers here. I said clearly I'm an agnostic. I believe in a higher power, and I think you're beating around the question there, Chris.
I believe, just as the founding fathers said, but that freedom of religion. But personally, there's no getting around this as it was written in our Constitution. This country was founded on Judeo-Christian beliefs, as well as the freedom to practice your religion.
Yeah.
So, regardless, it was founded on Judeo-Christian teachings originally, as well as was founded to have the right to practice your religion freely.
Right.
As me, for example, I believe in the Bible, but I practice my religion in my home and out in the open, because I don't believe in these stupid churches.
And you are a Muslim, correct?
Hell no.
Whoa. Not hell no. Just say no, sir. You don't have to say hell no. That sounds disrespectful. So agnostic is a person who believes...
Come on, how are you going to say to me?
What
How are you going to say to me? How are you going to say after I say I believe in the Bible? Oh, you're a Muslim?
What the hell, Ian?
It was a joke, Ian. It was a joke. Go get a microwave, put your burrito inside of it, turn it on. All right, so a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God or anything beyond material phenomena, a person who claims neither faith nor disbelief in God. That's an agnostic. So that's pretty much my stance. I don't know. I've never seen God. I've never seen the devil. I've never seen anything in my own eyes to say that there is a God, but I do believe there might be a higher power. So maybe I am leaning towards a religious belief. Okay, so we asked E already. We asked Scooter. We asked Eva. What about you?
Oh, as I stated, I love the Lord. I just don't believe in any organized religion. I am not going to have a fist fight with anybody over their beliefs.
Put them up. Mike, what about you?
I think I'm kind of with Eva on that one too. Religion has just been hijacked, just like so many other things. I think there's people who profit off it. When you have the Vatican that's gold-plated, you have bishops that have $40 million compounds. Obviously, they're humans. There is greed. They're not perfect. I'm not saying they're right in any way or wrong, but all I'm saying is, what I believe is Mother Nature and your parents, your family, and just mutual respect for life. If you see a plant, a snail, whatever it is, you respect it, you respect the life, and you keep it going, and you work an honest day. And, I do want to believe in a higher power. I really do. And I do have faith. I believe that my grandparents, they've passed on. They rest in peace, but I still communicate with them, whether it be through prayer or just myself closing my eyes and smoking a joint. I do what works for me. You do what works for you.
That's what's up. Let me just say my piece real fast. I'm gonna make this quick. I nitpick. I pick out what I like about religions, like Muslims. They believe if you push us, we're gonna push you back. That's what I feel. I feel like if we need to get our rights back, we need to get our freedoms back. We cannot just let them push us and not do anything about it. It's like that bully that pushes you in class. How many times are you gonna be pushed before you say enough? Enough is enough. With Christianity, I believe in peace. I believe in peacefully assembling, a peaceful protest, a peaceful demonstration. I believe in that. With Buddhism, I don't know what they believe in, but just, just closing your eyes and meditating for a little bit. I believe in that. I believe that's a form of Buddhism. There's so many different religions that have great points and great objectives. That's what I do. I feel like we all need to work together in this planet. And like Eva said, instead of what's right and what's wrong, we got to know the truth, because to somebody that's crooked as hell.
When it came to the Crusades, when it came to the War of the Crusades, when the Turks were fighting, the Muslims had much cooler looking swords. Those were badass.
Awesome.
Just for that. I'll say I'm a Muslim just so I can have one of them swords.
I'll look for one online for you, Ian.
Word up.
Thank you.
All right, dudes. Well, let's move on to the next topic. This is going great. I really appreciate all your guys' opinions. Let's talk about the food industry. Let's start off with Eva. Do you eat fast food?
Unfortunately, I will be the first to admit, yes, I do eat fast food.
What do you like in particular? Be honest. Chalupas are yummy. Just say it.
What do oh my goodness. I don't have.
Don't lie.
No, actually, I don't have a favorite fast food.
You must like something weird, like nachos with relish on them or something like that.
I can't.
You're not pregnant, dude.
No, really, I can't think of a favorite fast food.
You stay out of
that
this
I
E.
have. I love to cook.
Yeah.
And given the opportunity, give me a kitchen, and I'll go shopping. I will prepare a
Dinner at
feast.
Eva's tonight, okay?
I love to cook.
Awesome.
Beautifully said. Anything in particular? Really quick. What do you like to make?
My
favorite dish?
Favorite is lasagna.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on with Mike. What do you eat fast food?
I try to avoid it at all costs, but I mean, once in a while you do eat it. I like the In-N-Out, the Habit, Pollo Loco once in a while, Chick-fil-A maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I grew up with home cooked meals, and that's how I kind of grew up. As I got married, I thought my wife would cook every night. That didn't happen. So, but it's all good. What we do is we go shop together. We kind of plan what we want to eat, and we try to cook it ourselves.
This wasn't part of the description.
Yeah.
All right. So
Right?
let's go with Scooter. What do you like to eat, brother?
Oh, I love Popeye's chicken.
Ooh.
That sounds good.
But I'll tell you what, I quit drinking pop. It's been, now 4 months? So, because I was drinking like 6 Mountain Dews a day.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
Dude, that's really bad. I know a guy at work who brings a 2-liter of Mountain Dew every day in his backpack. You can see it, and he drinks it to stay awake. It's really bad for you. It has the most sugar in it, bro. Lay off.
Oh, yeah, I quit. Well, I'll tell you what, I was having a hard time remembering stuff.
Wow.
As soon as I quit it, I still have a hard time remembering.
What was my name again? All right, let's go with Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, do you eat fast food?
Sometimes.
What do you like eating, brother?
Honestly, I mean, I try to stay away from fast food because I know how bad it is for me, and from just how expensive they are nowadays. Have you ever went into a McDonald's recently? I mean, I'm going in there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get 2 hamburgers. They'll be $10. I'm like, what the fuck? $10? Get soda. It's like, $13. That's gonna be $13 now. I'm like, it's like, how can people even afford to get fat off of this food?
All right, but the question was, what are you eating? What do you eat for fast food?
I mean, unfortunately, I have to say,
What the freak kind of McDonald's you go to?
It's 2 Big Macs for $5, man. You add that shit up, it's about 13 Big Macs. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Big Macs I can understand, but a freaking dollar cheeseburger?
All right, what about you, E?
Oh, yeah, those things are rip-off, though. Those little dollar cheeseburgers, I mean, they're not.
Hey, that new triple double cheeses or triple cheese is awesome. Yeah, that's the bomb. Me and my sister, we eat one like once a month, and it's yummy.
And it's real beef, guys.
E. What about you, E?
Yeah, my favorite fast food is only 2 different kinds of eat. It's Chinese food and pizza.
Yeah, now that's the American way, even though it's Chinese. Hey, everything's made in China. It's in America, so what do you expect? Okay, awesome. But do you guys feel like GMOs? Do you guys feel like this stuff is going to cause a cancer issue later on down the road?
More than likely.
Yeah, I know. Scooter.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look at autism rates and kids having problems in school. I think that's all a byproduct of what's in our food.
Not to mention diabetes. Chris, what do you say?
Oh, GMOs are terrible. I mean, they cause, they cause cancer. They've been proven in lab rats. I don't know why we still have them. Well, I do know why, because the FDA has Monsanto.
The GMOs.
I mean, the GMOs cause cancer in the lab rats. You know, they've been done many studies about this. However, our government allows it because, you know, Monsanto's all in the FDA.
We're not supposed to be animal testing. We're not supposed to be animal testing due to animal rights laws by PETA, but yet we still do it.
Well, I'll tell you guys what's pretty funny. I live in Iowa. There's a lot of corn and soybeans, and they literally, when you get in your machine, you have to wear an outfit because the stuff is so bad that you got to wear respirators. You sit
So
there
who's
and it's
hungry?
like, yeah, sure, I'll have some of your sweet corn that's 4th of July.
Yeah. Chris, what is GMOs?
Genetically modified organisms. They pretty much modify the internal structure. You know, the internal, let's say RNA, because these are plants, RNA of the plant, which causes the plants to grow faster or grow bigger, just to make more money. And it makes these Frankenfoods that are proven to cause cancer, and that's why you have to be practically in a spacesuit just to farm these Franken foods.
You just said a mouthful. I like that. Frankenfoods, like Frankenstein in this experiment.
And then some of them also have an insecticide in them. Is that correct? Like Roundup or things of that nature?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Roundup is made by Monsanto, so
Yeah. The
What
big
was-
dogs.
What was that, E?
That's very true.
That is just like so twisted, man. That's like they should make a sci-fi movie out of that one term.
When you say they, who are you speaking of?
I was just supposed to see like have them make an alien movie out of freaking corn. You know, with the term
Revenge of the Tomatoes. Have you heard of that movie? Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes?
There you go.
Check and mate.
And then they did a similar thing with the movie Spaceballs, because remember the guy that owned the special, he had thing that crawled out of his stomach?
Yep.
Remember Spaceballs, that movie?
I remember Spaceballs. They're making a part 2. I don't know if you heard. Mel Brooks is making a part 2 of that movie.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
Dead. Johnny Kennedy's dead. Who's going to play the dog guy?
Well, they can replace the dog guy. It's not that hard. All right, let's move on to the next.
Yeah, put the guy in a suit.
Let's move.
Batman, a little dog suit.
Let's move on to the next subject. When Obama openly said that he's going to start implementing no big money into our elections, what do you guys feel about that? Was that the correct terminology, Mike? Didn't he just pass something? He's trying to pass something.
He's trying to, yeah.
What was that, E? Okay, E. Obama said that, big money going into big campaigns, that they're trying to slow that down.
Big money going to big campaigns?
Yes, sir. Okay, so what do you guys feel about that?
But the Supreme Court already voted on that, and they struck down what he had to say, and they consider corporations an entity of like a person. So unless he wrote an executive order, there's no way that would go through.
Yeah, it's funny. He only uses executive orders.
According to law, executive order is not supposed to go over that.
It's funny because Obama only uses executive orders when he wants to use them. When it's detrimental, it's time to bomb places. That's the time that he uses it. But when it's time for him to actually use it to override something that's serious, like the people that run the elections, who lobbies, we just described that earlier, to influence somebody, that's bullshit. And now anybody from any country can pump money into the super PACs, and they can be from China for all we know, pumping all the money into an elective representative called a United States president, and they actually work for another country. So that's the problem that we're having right now.
But then again, I mean, let's talk about the debt.
Bill Clinton, when he was in office, he got all them Chinese reps giving him money.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but then the debt. I mean, who owns all of America's debt? Russia, China?
But not only that, how about dual citizenship?
Yeah, correct.
You know, how many officials have dual citizenship?
Where is their loyalty?
Exactly. Where is it?
Was Obama born in America or the United States?
I say no.
I think it all boils down to money because I mean these politicians and presidents are bought and sold all day long.
Exactly.
And Eva, you said on your show that you would like to abolish the Republican and the Democratic Party. How do you say that, knowing that for every year of America we've had that in place since George Washington, which was like the first time there was an independent president not running with the party?
Come on, let's get rid of that illusion, okay? Sure, there's a Republican side, there's a Democratic side. There's only one agenda, and they're working for that agenda. Both parties are.
Wow. Beautifully said. I agree. I think that they both work under the same roof. They're all lying to us. They'll say whatever it takes to win an election. They really care not about the public. We outnumber them probably 1,000 to 1, maybe 100,000 to 1 by the population, and yet we let them pull the strings. We let them control us, and yet there's people sitting around. They want to watch football, like George Orwell said in his book in 1984. You give the population the entertainment, and they'll eat it up. They will not comply or ask questions.
Bingo.
All right, dudes. Great. Anybody want to interject in that? I think Chris or E didn't get a touch on that. Did you guys want to say something?
I got to well, yeah, the way I see it is this. Eva's right. Little E's right. It's totally messed up how people just sit in front of their TVs or go to their local sports stadiums, watch the players play, and while they're sitting comfortably watching these sports.
But why did the Seahawks throw instead of running it? But why? Answer that.
That's beyond.
Because it's fixed, okay?
But E, don't be a hypocrite. You watch sports. You sit there and with your beer and enjoy.
I don't have cable TV, bro.
Okay, wrong guy then. Scooter,
You
don't.
watch it on the internet. I don't have cable TV.
All right, I get your point. Scooter, don't be a hypocrite. You watch sports. You watch the Denver Broncos.
Hey, I'll be straight up. It's for just like anything in life. Too much excess is bad for you. Yeah, I watch Denver Broncos on Sunday. I play Xbox. I watch a little TV.
Dude, I just got a Wii modified. It's off the hook, bro.
I got an Xbox One and I love the thing now. But I mean the thing.
Dude, I didn't get to finish, man.
E, you wait your turn, damn it. You wait your turn.
But I think everything in moderation is the best way. I mean, just like we were going back to our boy, talking about, kind of not railroading people, but just giving his ideas and thoughts that they don't know what he's talking about. If you do it in moderation, I think it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that. There's nothing wrong with watching an event that is a stress reliever, and it takes you off your mind of your daily job of working 8 hours, 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week. Hey, relax, dude. Do what you want to do. But the thing that sucks is that we're not getting paid like we're supposed to anymore. Corporations are collaborating nowadays. They're no longer for the interest of the worker. I saw some crazy thing about like the companies that are the most to strive. They like actually hook up their employees with like massages during their breaks. They give them like good lunch. They take care of them, and they actually prosper more. But it's the Walmarts, it's the McDonald's that don't give a rat's ass. They pay them because they know they can be replaced minimum wage, and that's the way it goes. Fuck you. So let's talk about
What I was saying, I'm not going to get completely cut off.
Go ahead, E, Mr. I want to speak, and don't stop me from speaking.
Well, anyway, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but anyway, I was trying to finish an important point. But anyway,
Oh, just joking with you, bro.
I'm not trying to say you can't go to a sporting event and watch a sport. I'm just saying to all the people out there that aren't in tune with it like we are, don't know what's going on around them like we do, and they just sit there idly by and not care. Like what the people that were running the marathon at Boston bombing. Did they know something was going to happen that day when it happened? No. They were just living a normal day, and something happened.
Yep.
And still there are people swearing down that wasn't a false flag. And they claim it was a false flag because someone say they were there.
I hear you, bro.
And they didn't see no things that Alex Jones, professor, said were there that happened because he got photos of the people that were there.
But Brian Williams was there, guys.
I didn't see nothing like what Alex Jones photos said.
Well, I agree with you on that. I mean,
There was explosions of people running all over. How could you see anything?
what's your question, though? What are you asking, though, E? Are you saying The media was right on top of that, bro. And I always said if the media, 6 corporations that run the show, which it used to be like 80 back in the 50s, is now reduced to 6 corporations. If anything that's on TV for the population is to scare us, it's fucking false, dude. I mean, accidents do happen. Accidents do happen. Tragedies do happen. But if it's for the mainstream media, I feel like it's all set and planned. It's premeditated for us to be afraid and bow down to the new legislation that's coming in. Let's move on to war and troops. Someone's breathing really hard on their microphone right now. You guys got to just take a quick little breath, step aside from your phone.
That's not my breathing, I promise.
I think that's Chris.
But I do got a lot to say about that.
Okay, guys, well, let's get into war and troops. You had a good little statement you made earlier. Let's move on to someone else. Mike, what do you think about the war and troops?
I mean, obviously, if somebody does attack you, you do have the right to defend yourself, but the problem is that there's no transparency in what's really going on. When the general public is going to be the one funding these wars, which pretty much is the average taxpayer. And not only that, the life that is going to be taken. And not only that is the emotional distress that's going to come along with it. You really have to weigh your options in life. If there is these false flags that are pulling all these sorts of things and getting us into these endless wars like Vietnam, the Iraq War, but in history, I mean, there's always been war, but I truly believe that people just need to put their egos aside, and I think it's the corporations. There's too much money to be made. It's the profiteering. When Dick Cheney was the vice president and he was the ex-CEO of Halliburton, I mean, Halliburton is set to make money in the trillions over the long run, but what about the cost of the life, the drones, it's just people can't even, there was an article I read where people used to be like, we used to go outside and look in the heavens because that was all we had left, is on now we're scared of the drones. The only time we come out is when it's gray or it's foggy because they don't fly. So, I mean, when you're affecting a whole culture and a whole people and a religion or whatever it may be, it's very detrimental to the whole global society. But overall, I'm against war. I definitely am against it. I think that the wrong people are fighting the wars. And
you sound like Ron Paul right now. So let me ask you, like they asked Ron Paul, if we were attacked, threatened with nukes, and we were attacked, what do you do?
If it was a real threat, you have to act. I mean, that's how it is. Like my mother told me when I was a young kid, if you don't start fights, but if somebody hits you, you have the right to defend yourself. And that's how I feel. And
does that mean we invade a country, or do we go for that specific group? What do we do?
Depends on the intelligence, depends on the situation. It's a case-by-case scenario. You can't, it's not a drop nukes on everybody and the war's over. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Beautifully said.
How can we react to an action taken upon us when our troops are over in other countries and they are not at our beck and call to protect us?
That's why we have the Second Amendment, so that we could have guns and we could form militias and we could protect ourselves and our communities. That's when we have to band together and really unite as one society.
It's very scary, guys.
It is.
It's very scary.
It is.
I think the most passionate person about war right now would be Chris. What do you say about war, brother?
It's a racket, as Smedley Butler once said, who stopped the business coup in 1933, which was a planned fascist takeover. Some of the notable people involved, they wanted Smedley Butler to be the leader, but he denied it. He didn't want to be part of a fascist government. Prescott Bush was one of the main financiers of the attempted coup.
And a racket means what?
And as Smedley Butler said, a racket is something as far different than what the general populace sees it as, and that's what war is. People think that war is this glorious thing where men, show their glory and fight for their country, but what they're really doing is getting corporations super rich, like Halliburton, who made $39.5 billion.
But American Sniper was awesome, bro.
In the Iraq War, and also one of the main shadow factors of the wars is the Rothschild family. Their banking dynasty goes to almost every country, but whenever the country that is interfering with their plans, they have the United States military, who's their military wing, go and bomb the crap out of that country, and they make they make so much money you don't even know how they can spend it all. They have accumulated wealth of trillions of dollars. The Rothschild family. It's not a conspiracy. It's not just a conspiracy theory. It's known that the Rothschild family is this powerful, and that's probably who owns the United States. It's known outside the United States that's who runs the United States. It's only in the United States that the people believe that it's actually Barack Obama as our president. But really, he's just a puppet for these people at the top. And it's not just the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, a lot of these other industrial giants, these other corporate giants. and a bunch of other giant bankers and CEOs.
Hey, Chris.
It's all.
Chris, people would argue that Bill Gates is the richest man in the world because they're basing it off, Forbes releases the richest people. Why is it that you never hear anything about the Rothschilds or anything like that?
Well, they have control of most of the media, and they stay in the shadows. You don't hear their names much. You don't see them on TV. They keep secret. That's how they stay in power. They secretly control the Federal Reserve. They're like the main family of the Federal Reserve. They are the not the sole owner, but they have the biggest stake of ownership of the Federal Reserve, which is how our money's printed. I'll go into that later because that's kind of a long topic. But the Rothschild, Bill Gates also he might have the biggest sole fortune, which is $60 or $70 billion. But the Rothschilds, it's like every member of that family has $70 billion. So it adds up to be trillions when you add up to 2,000, 3,000 members. It's a giant family.
Kind of like Walmart.
That it stretches out to their 10th cousins.
Damn.
It's like yeah.
Well, just back in the day, from we'll say Vietnam and before that, the saying was war is great for the economy.
Yeah. Good shit,
Correct.
Eva.
Yes.
That's so big because, we make a lot of money circulating through the economy when we can make parts, we can build machines, we can make weapons and export them out to these countries and sell them for a nice
who's
price.
fighting these wars? Who's fighting it? Is it the people that vote for it? Because I remember watching Fahrenheit 9/11 with Michael Moore. Whether people like him or not, I don't really care. But he goes out to Congress and is trying to sign up, the people in Congress to be like, hey, you're voting for us for war. Let's sign up your kid. Let's draft them out to the war zone. So, who's really fighting all these wars that we are involved in?
The poor and the
Exactly.
middle
It's the
class.
serfs. It's us.
The servants. Scooter, what do you feel about that? Would you send your child to go to these countries and make a decent wage but might come back without an eyeball or an arm or something?
No, I don't. War is ratchet. Guys, pretty much, I don't believe in war. I think it's bad. I'm a very big proponent of, the right to bear arms and stuff like that. I just think it's a bad idea because the only people that profit from it are the ones selling it to us.
Definitely.
That's pretty much how I feel about that. No, I wouldn't want my kids to sign for the military, but at the same time, they're their own person. They can do what they choose to do at that age.
Yeah. And if they brought back the draft, would you go? Or would you go to prison for 5 years?
No, I'd run.
He said I'd run.
I would not fight for the Rothschilds war.
That's what's up, brother. A lot of
I would
people.
not fight for the Rothschild war.
And one last thing I do
I
want to
would
say,
not
though.
fight for the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I would not fight. I would not fight for deception.
Exactly. But one thing I would say is that when I say I speak against war, I'm not speaking against the soldiers or the people who really enlist, because that's the misconception a lot of people have with me. If you're anti-war, it's like, oh, well, you're against the soldiers. You're not patriotic. You're un-American. You're this, you're that. I'm like, no, I'm anti-bullshit. That's what I am. Don't lie to me.
Call me.
That's a deception that they give us.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Beautifully said.
It's been the deception.
What was that?
It's been the deception. Meanwhile, these wars and the reason why these young men and women have been enlisting, choosingly, because the draft was never there, the whole time that I've known about, because I don't think the draft was there, it's not. So these young men and women choosing to enlist have been enlisting through deception.
What about
And
like Blackwater
it's
USA,
deception that's
mercenaries?
It's deception that's caused these young men and women to get killed. Fighting for the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, false flags have brought death upon our young men and women.
Well, I have to be honest, back in the day when we had recruiters come to our high school, I got out of class and I took the test.
You traitor.
I took the test, okay? And
What year was this, though?
oh my gosh.
I mean, you don't have to
Okay, I'm
answer, but
29, but that was,
Oh.
I believe in...
The reason I ask is because
I believe in 76, most likely.
America was a different America at that point.
Actually, it was.
The internet did not exist. You didn't have all this commercial, mainstream stuff. You didn't have... You know what I mean? America was different at that point. That's why I asked, because nowadays,
Back then, you had only 13 channels.
Exactly, but
exactly, antennas.
The only reason why I took the test was to get out of class, and I passed. And I tell you, they hounded my ass daily for, I would say, a year after I took the test.
Of course.
Introducing our good buddy of the show, Septicon is now in the building with Eva. Give me a mic check, brother, real quick.
Mic check. Let me
Get a
bring
little,
this a little closer.
Bring a little bit closer. Perfect timing. I was just about to bring up immigration, and who is more outspoken than my brother right here, Septicon. Thank you for being a part of the show.
That's good, brother.
How you doing, Mike? It's nice to see you, brother.
We actually have three other people on the line right now. We have the incredible Chris from Staybold Radio. We have the amazing E for Eternity in the show. Eva actually is the co-host of that, and we got one of my good friends from Facebook, Scooter, who's from Iowa,
And he's 4 guns.
and he's got a bunch of weapons. So I just want to thank you guys all for being here. Let's touch on immigration. Cepta, let's jump with it first with you. What do you feel about immigration, and why are you against illegal immigration?
Well, we have to look at where it originates. You know what I mean? So, okay, I mean, it's simple, right? I mean, people used to do it as well, you know, in the beginning of this country. They'd come here, you know, great American dream. Here's the thing. My only beef with immigration and why I think it exists is because, like, things like NAFTA, you know, all these other laws that kind of prevent.
What is NAFTA?
NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. So
what is that exactly? Because I have no idea what the fuck that is.
basically, it dictates what, you know, can come from Mexico, what they can sell, what they can export. Here, real quick.
And Canada.
And Canada as well. Real quick, though. Did you know Mexico has a lot of crude oil under their feet? And it's astounding to me how they're not rich. Saudi Arabia is very rich. All these Middle Eastern countries are very rich because they have this resource that is needed by everyone.
Wow.
Mexico's one of those countries. The funny thing about Mexico, though, Mexico has no refineries because this country prevents it from having them.
The Monroe Doctrine.
So what happens
Wait,
right there, Mike, and you
Time
might
out.
agree.
What is that? Because they are a third world country. You just said that there was something that could have made them better.
Well, to refine, you know, like you have crude oil in its form, you refine it into gasoline. They don't have that.
Why not?
This country will not allow them to.
What say do we have? We're not even their country. They're their own country.
Monroe Doctrine.
There
What
you
is
go,
the Monroe Doctrine?
Mike, break it down, because
Okay,
I'm
so-
even kind of ignorant of that.
Well,
so please.
President Monroe, pretty much what it was that the United States and the Americas would be the only superpower on this continent, so nobody else could rival the
Makes
United
sense.
States. And pretty much Mexico and Central and South America are like the backyard. I mean, Canada, is, you know, it's a little different with them, I would say, but they still don't rival
I have
the
a
United
question
States.
to that, Mike. So
Yeah.
is this why you have like United Fruit Corporation going into, you know, South America and all like
the
ExxonMobil?
CIA economic hitman, you know,
Well,
this is what
I
they
mean,
do.
that's when we propose a deal, and then they say,
Yeah.
no, that's a shitty deal. So
Well, look at the Panama Canal. I mean,
Yeah,
who
exactly.
owned it? Who owned
Exactly.
the Panama? Manuel Noriega. Come on, you know, the drug trade.
And even when they were fighting over who was going to own it, I mean, there was, you know,
just answer me this: how is it that all the drugs are produced down there, but 80 to 90% are consumed in the United States? Yet there's no poppy fields here. There's no coca leaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does it get here?
Ain't no poppy fields over here. Ain't no Uzis made in Harlem.
Exactly. Everything's
And
imported.
It's real. You know, so
Do you think that there's possibly an ulterior motive
Oh, of course.
making Mexico part of the United States?
oh yeah,
The Amero.
yeah. of
Wow.
course.
So,
Is that a
bada
possibility?
bing, bada boom.
well, I mean, because look, I mean, even with, you know, the European Union, that's already, you know, what they did that's already an established thing that they're gonna do here. You know, I mean, look at what Greece, right? They just straight out said, you know what? I don't want this shit.
They
Fuck
said this.
austerity. Fuck you guys and your union. We're gonna do our own shit.
Well, Argentina kind of said the same thing to the United States because Argentina owes a lot of money, and they were kind of like, I ain't gonna pay you shit.
And that was because of Pinochet, dog.
Can you
He
guys
put
break it
that
down
shit
for
over
us out there? That what exactly is America trying to push on other countries?
Our belief that we're
They
the
want
shit.
McDonald's there. They want the Walmart.
It's funny,
there,
right?
you
Because
know?
look, every third world country, like, they don't get like aid, right?
But
Like
they got
proper aid,
Coca-Cola.
but they got Coca-Cola and they got McDonald's. Like, how the fuck is that possible? Think of how contradictory that is, right? Like, we won't allow you to have oil refineries so you can prosper and better your country so that your people don't need to swim across the fucking ocean and river to come over here to supposedly steal our resources. You know, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, all right, you want to end immigration? Let them fucking prosper as a country. Fuck NAFTA. Fuck the Monroe Doctrine.
Well, another thing.
Every country.
But why are people?
But it's a power grab.
Well,
I gotta read
let's
more
to,
on this Monroe
Let's get to the
Doctrine.
root of the problem. Why are these people leaving? Why are they fleeing where they're at? A lot of people think that people are coming here for the jobs. They are not coming for the jobs. I will tell you that.
They're fucking sweeping and at the corner at a bus stop, getting ready to be picked up by someone from Home Depot.
I'll tell you why they're coming, because they're getting kidnapped.
You know how much money they make? You know how much money they make in Mexico in one day?
Dude, like 5 pesos.
This is a rough estimate. This is maybe about a year ago, 2 years ago, because I got family from there. They make about 70 pesos a day, maybe 80, and that's a lot, I think. That's $8 a day. So then you go, or less, exactly. And
the
they get
peso
paid.
is 15. $1 equals 15 pesos.
Wow.
It's insane right now.
Before it was 10.
Before
it was 10. When I went to Mexico, which was about 6, 7 years ago, 10 years ago.
When I first moved there, it was to 3. $1 was 3 pesos. Shot up to 9, then 10. My parents went up bankrupt in one day, and now it's up to 15. I feel for these people. You know, they're interviewing. They're like, I used to get a kilo of meat, now I'm getting half a kilo.
Well, see, now to answer your question, Lou, you know, you want to know why
Who's
these people are
manipulating
coming
the dollar?
here.
Who's manipulating it?
It's the same people that destroyed the fucking economy, dude, in 2008.
It's deep. It's deep.
My whole thing is we're invading these countries because of terrorism. Just let that word sink in your head real quick.
There's no such thing as terrorism.
That's what I'm saying.
That's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as terrorism. That's like me saying ice fire. How the fuck
Fox
does
News
ice
says
fire
it is.
exist?
What is ice fire?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? That's
Let me Google it.
right? You know?
We saw it on Facebook.
Ice fire, really?
It was the snow fire, though.
So,
but how can something heat and be cold simultaneously?
I saw it, man.
Holy
I
God
saw
damn.
it.
let me propose
I
something.
think that was miraculous.
Why is it that we have to occupy these countries, 900 bases around the world, if not more? Why can't we occupy Mexico and build that country? Why can't? Because borders. We're going to be invaded by terrorism to these borders. Why don't we occupy the borderline, build that country? We invade Mexico. We help those people prosper, so they're no longer invading our
Because
country.
this country is addicted to slave labor.
Well,
if you're in prison or illegal immigrants.
Not only
that's what
that,
it
Mexico's
is. It's an
already
addiction.
occupied, dude, by the politics, by everything that prevents it from being a major power.
Fast and Furious.
So, you know, it's been occupied. If you want to go back into real history, like Mesoamerica, Mexico, that section of land, even America, when they were full of Indians, like, we were all dark-skinned people, you know? Like, look at the religion that's over here. It's mostly European-based religion, Christianity, Catholicism, right? Which is mostly predominant in Mexican culture right now.
Roman Catholic.
You know, so then you go back to what we are, which were Aztecs, Mayans, Toltecas, Chichimecas, all these races of Indians that existed. We believed in the stars, like the whole heavens,
Wait,
right?
let me correct you. You were a providence. You did not exist.
Thank you. I accept that
I just
criticism.
had to throw that in. I just had to throw it in
accept
for
that.
the
Let's
fact.
let someone else jump in the mix. Scooter, what do you feel? Because you know, this is what I like about you, Scooter. Scooter, what I like about you is that you reason. You're an open-minded guy. So even though you're a white Caucasian male in Iowa, you actually don't judge us because we're brown. And I'm not judging you because you're white. But I do love that you have an open mind to see our side, and we also have an open mind to see your side, whichever side that may be.
Very true. I could fix Mexico's in the United States problem in a year. All you got to do is legalize. Well, no, seriously, all you got to do is legalize drugs here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I-
Cepta
I-
was
I-
very
I agree.
open about that. He said if you legalize drugs, you have a chance to crippling the
No, not a chance. This is a guarantee it will cripple the cartel.
cartels.
Well, Mexico is ahead of the United States because they have decriminalized pretty much every drug.
Because why? Because in that
Now-
country, it's an epidemic.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
So it's
now,
pretty
do I
crazy.
believe? Now, do I believe that in illegal immigration? I think everybody should do it legally. I'm all for, and it's not my country; it's our country.
Correct.
But you know, my family came from Lithuania. They, you know, went through the process, waited and waited and waited. Finally, got called up, and both of my grandpa and grandma and my dad went through the process, paid to become a United States citizen, and I think that's the way that we should.
What
all
year
do it.
was this
And
in?
They came in 1947. My dad was actually, side note, was taken by Hitler when he was a kid for
Wow,
6 months because
that
he
is
had blonde
insane.
hair and blue eyes.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
my grandpa was actually in the SS Army
Wow.
before he knew what it was.
Dang.
He actually hid behind a wall for 2 months trying to come to America, and they ransacked the house, beat up my grandma, tried bribing the kids with candy and food. So yeah, I mean, we're all immigrants, and we're, you know, I feel bad for the people that are there, but at the same time,
They have measles.
I'm up. Well, yeah,
just kidding.
I get sad by the fact that, you know, we call this the, you know, what are you guys laughing about now? I'm kind of curious.
Just the measles. We're just laughing.
He punched in a joke. He said that it's because of the measles that you're afraid, and that's the joke because the mass media, again, is being fed the measles outbreak. Everyone get vaccinated right away. Don't stop. And that's what we're talking about.
You know,
It's bullshit.
Well, what was pretty fun, there's a saying, don't believe anything you hear, half of what you see, and you'll be just fine.
Yep.
So
But-
that's how I feel about the government. But yeah, definitely, I don't believe that people should be coming over here in, you know, hundreds of thousands.
But
I understand
don't you think
why
it's
they do
changed
it.
drastically since after 9/11? Like since 2001, I mean, it's just been. I mean, it's not 1940s or the 50s or the 60s or 70s or 80s when it was a lot easier to go ahead and get over here and you know, do it legally. But the game has changed. I mean, don't you think after 9/11 it did make it a little bit harder? Everybody's a terrorist now.
I don't think it's so much 9/11. I think people's perception of other people's feelings before, you know, it was okay, you know, in people's mind to say somebody's gay or you know, somebody's a you know, an illegal immigrant. Now we have to worry about how that person feels, and so the perception of people have changed is what I think.
Let me
go ahead.
let me step in and let Eva speak because we have a minute left before a break. Eva, what do you feel about illegal immigration?
Do it legal.
Say it again.
Do it legal.
Do it legal. That's all she's got to say. E, what about you, bro?
Well, my quick stance on illegal immigration is, as far as how I feel Native Americans feel about it from a born white guy's perspective, this wasn't our land anyway, so if anything, they have the right to say, all of us get the frig out.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
There you go.
We showed a
Beautifully
video
said.
of that before.
I'll smoke to that.
So what up, everybody? Open Your Minds podcast. I am DJ Loose, sitting in the room with Cepta in the house. One of the coolest guys ever that knows so much information. Excellent. And we have Eva in the spot from NWO, Truth Radio, Mass Media. We have Mike G, who's my co-host from the Open Your Minds podcast. We're
up,
about
guys?
to rock this mother.
Let's do it.
So what were you guys talking about? I want to hear this.
We're talking about an array of things, weren't we?
We were talking about freebies.
Give me a freebie.
No, things that we were granted here on this earth by the grace of God, by our Creator, and now we're suckered into paying for everything.
Even breathing?
Breathing.
Pretty soon.
There will
Yeah.
be a
Pretty
breathing
soon.
Carbon tax?
Yes.
It's ridiculous, right?
Watch, the world's gonna be so polluted and so to shit. They're gonna start charging
Just
people
look
like,
at
you
China.
can live in this section because it's not that fucked up. But if you don't got money, you're fucked. It's kind of like the ghetto and gentrification, right? You know how like the higher class people can move into wherever they want, and they push the people that can't afford, you know, further away. So it's like, okay, you know, the only difference is that you're gonna be breathing in radiation and shit, you know, as opposed to maybe
It's funny you bring up
other side of the hill.
gentrification because I've been talking about it so much lately because I'm seeing it happen right before our eyes in Santa Ana and Anaheim. And, you know, they're building all these nice places. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, but why aren't they affordable? Why is it that the people who used to live in that area before rent used to be $1,000, now guess what? It's $3,000. You know, it's pretty crazy what
The
they're doing.
haves and haves not.
Yes.
I think theoretically, I could, because like, all right, I played SimCity, you know, and that game is a trip because in order for you to create, because the goal is to make a rich city that you know generates a lot of revenue,
Vegas.
you know, so pretty much, and what you want to do is it's the same thing. You gentrification. You start zoning residential areas, which used to be low class. You go medium, and then you go high. So that's the whole thing, you know. You create these centers, right, that generate economic
growth,
surpluses, and
What's up, Chris? You want to say
crazy.
something about that?
Yeah, I'm back now. I've been doing for like 15 minutes.
Yo,
But,
Eva mentioned earlier about our God, and I don't take offense to that because I believe in good, which I believe is a longer word for the word God. I want to say, why do you say that? It's our God, and what God are you referring to? I'm not trying to pull any strings here. I'm just asking a question.
Our Creator.
Which creator?
A to Z, beginning to end, the person who has always been and always will be. Do I have to explain more, Lucy?
I don't know. What I'm just not. I'm confused. Jesus Christ, Allah. What are we talking about?
I'm talking about God, but also I have a different take on the Bible. So I mean, that's for a whole other segment because I could go on for
Let's
days.
hear it.
Man.
I want to hear it. Let's hear it because that's one of the topics that we brought up on our podcast. We had Nick in here, who's a great debater, great rebuttaler. We threw him a lot of curveballs, and he struck out a couple times, and he hit a couple of them, and he hit a home run in a couple of segments. So let us hear what your ideal is of what you're saying, because you might be able to inspire me to think differently.
Well, in Genesis, it speaks about God. It speaks about our Lord, and it speaks about Lord. So if you want to decipher the Bible, one would think or could think that there are 3 gods. And
The same God or not
little
the same
buzz.
God?
Are you?
Yes. And also in the Bible, before God created Adam, he created.
Keep talking. Go ahead.
He created.
Just try adjusting her wire because it's buzzing apparently. Just that end there. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry. Are we good?
Yeah, just keep talking, Eva.
I'm dead.
You're dead?
Totally
All right,
dead.
try getting both your hands and like adjusting that little input right there. Just pull it out a little tiny bit, see if she hears anything. Anything? Can you hear me? Hello, check
Yeah.
mic 1 check. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You killed me.
So
Oh
sorry.
no.
Here, let me hear your
Mr.
headphones.
Bill.
I don't want to be a killer.
It's the NSA.
This is a powerful podcast. We're like, fuck you guys.
Oh, there's
We're
you
gonna
know
interfere with your transmission.
we have a lot of callers right now, man. It's awesome.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank
Awesome.
you.
They get loose
Beautiful,
sometimes.
Beautiful.
All right, so again, can you break it down for us? Our God, the 3 gods, that's where you paused at. What
In-
3 gods? The
in-
Holy Spirit, is that what we're talking about?
No, we're
Okay.
talking about in Genesis, it talks about God. It talks about our Lord and Lord. And the way that I have taken it, that those are 3 separate entities. But that's only my belief, okay? I'm not pushing my beliefs on anybody.
Right. I kind of could agree with that using reason that, hey, like, where did this information come from being to be good? You know, instead of just being a hunter that goes and kills its prey and eats, what about being kind to others? What about showing respect? What about showing love and empathy? Where does this blueprint start? And I feel like the Bible is somewhat of a blueprint because it teaches us morality, not to cheat on our wives, not to lie, not to sin. And that's why I have no problem with the Bible. There are some issues that come across, like gay people can't get married.
But is that because of a religion's interpretation of it?
What
Or
exactly?
Is it
The gay
an
rights thing?
individual?
The gay, what are we talking about?
Because from what I know, and I know I can state this for fact, our God, because there's only one creator, okay? But he is kind, he is loving, and he has forgiveness. But you should also fear him because you don't want to fuck up.
Yeah. And fuck up, you mean make bad decisions for your own life.
Well, yes.
That's what it all boils down to me
because
in this.
if you go out and you murder somebody, that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
okay?
and we have cages ready for you, waiting for you.
Exactly.
I 100% agree with that, and that's what I look at the Bible as. Do I know there's a spiritual man in the clouds looking down upon me? I don't know, but what I do feel is that the book is warning us on bad decisions. You cheat on your wife, she's going to break up with you. You have nothing. You have this person who wanted to sleep with you because you were married. It's disgusting. So, Cepta?
Yeah.
You look like you've been wanting to jump in.
Yeah, no, just one quick point. You got to look at how many people died over that.
And that's a big one.
Whether if that was, and I'm talking about the Bible, right? You got to look at how many people died over religion in general throughout time. So I like what you say because it's your own interpretation. You're entitled to that. You interpret God the way you want to.
First Amendment.
That's the beautiful part. Because if you, in my opinion, if you try to put this face or this physical thing to God, it's contradictory once again, because this amazing entity, right? This energy, it's infinite. How can you confine something that's infinite? That's why I don't think God has a gender, because it is too infinite to even be confined into one gender.
Okay, let's back it up back to Genesis, if we may, because in the beginning, before Adam was created, there was the Lord took him and he took a male and a female. He created them, meaning he united them, and we can call it hermaphrodite. We can call it, I forget the other name for it. I'm so sorry.
Homo sapien?
No, but it's where they could mate and create and repopulate the world. And if you go by the Bible, then we had there was Adam and Eve after them were created. Okay.
Just a quick rebuttal. If there were they Caucasian, by the way? What race were they?
Oh my goodness!
Can I say something real quick?
I wasn't there, man.
Okay, so they could be any color then.
They could.
But it doesn't say in the book, because I'm just wondering, because they show pictures of them being. Go ahead, dude.
Real quick, before we get into that, like if you read the Quran, there were prophets. Like Jesus was a prophet in the Quran. So, there's all these different interpretations. So it is impossible for you to just say it's this or it translates to that.
But people who follow the religion and the Bible and God, well, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a large portion where they're like, I'm right, you're wrong.
Well,
exactly.
that goes against everything.
But isn't that like, okay, when I think of religious, I think of like, okay, you know what? Let's all get along. Let's do it for the better of humanity. Remain humble. If you have less, I'm going to help you. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just saying like, that's what I take from a lot of it is like, hey, you help your neighbor, you don't kill, you don't cheat on your wife, all these sorts of things.
Just little guidelines that help us survive.
Yeah. I think when talking about religion, since obviously you have intelligence, when speaking of religion, I hope it comes down to, it's a respect issue, because let's say you believe in a cow. I'm being serious. Let's say you believe in a cow.
That's why I'm laughing.
That's there's who am I to go and even be like, well, what kind of belief is that? I'm no one to say that, because
that's very vague though. Because what is a cow?
I'm using that. Okay,
what is
but
it?
a cow, they can like. All right,
I can
is it in India? Is it in India?
Yeah,
see cows
I don't know
holy?
exactly what the religion is based on, why the cow is worshipped, but I'm going to use a hypothetical.
Because it gives you milk and it's.
Let me use a hypothetical. Let's say I see the cow as this god. Like I read readings that said this cow is a god. I believed it. And in my mind, it's a god. So,
but I'm trying to back up and say, why would you think that? And let me finish.
There's no reason to. Why
there's plenty of reasons, because it can give you
it's
milk.
Dogma, bro.
What do you mean dogma?
Dogma. It's taught to you.
Right.
Since a little child.
No, but let's look at common sense here. If I have an animal, let's say back in the day. So you're thinking today. Let's talk maybe 102 years ago. People that needed to survive had an animal that provided milk, that provided cheese, that provided things that we can eat.
Some people wouldn't eat it, dude, because they seen it as a god.
I thought they would see it as a god because it provides that food. So there's many ways of flipping it.
That could be an interpretation
Eddie,
of
who
it.
came on the show, who said
about pork.
Nick said, about
could
pork.
Be, yeah.
You couldn't cook the pork at a certain level because you'd get sick. We didn't have the technology to cook a pig a certain way to make sure that the food didn't have bacteria on it. So you could eat that pig and die.
Muslims
so that's why.
How about Muslims? They don't eat pork because they say it's the only animal that eats its own shit. That's another interpretation. And that, you know, how many Christians and fucking and Catholics eat pork?
This is some good shit.
Dude, look,
pepperoni pizza, please.
Look, point blank. In my
Extra
opinion,
pepperoni.
point blank. For there to be no dispute.
Do kids not eat their boogers?
In any
They
religion.
taste salty good, you know.
You know, look. How about this?
Try it on a Corona.
There's a religion right now amongst all our teenagers. It's a technology religion. It's a convenience religion. It's an entertainment religion. And the crazy thing about these religions is that these religions deteriorate. They don't build. There's no giving back. Let's say I did believe in a cow, and the cow said for me to give back and be nice and all this shit. Okay, that sounds
Be nice,
preposterous.
Cepta.
Slow down a bit, bro.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my statement.
I'm trying to keep up with you.
Okay, yeah, I just don't want to lose my train of thought. So then, okay, let's say, like, this cow tells me, yo, fucking, I read the Bible or some shit that's written, right? And once again, this is a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Not true. I'm just fucking using this as an example. So this cow says, yo, you know, you treat your neighbor right and treat people the way you want to be treated, right?
Yep.
And I believe that. That's cool. So then at least that would be helping me to make the world a better place. So these current religions, which they're not religions, we call them trends, right? I call them religions because it's a belief system.
You just read the next topic I was about to bring up.
Wow.
It's a belief system.
Wow.
It's a trend, right? The trend of the fucking
Psychic
trendiness,
powers.
the religion of the trendiness, the way to be in society, right?
Yep.
This is a doctrine. It's a program that's downloaded or uploaded to our minds so that we can be occupied. But like I said, the thing about these religions and these programs, it deteriorates. It makes you ignorant. It doesn't make you even want to know where you come from. Doesn't even want to make you know what's in the sky.
Well, here's the thing, though. With that said, I love that what you just said because it does deteriorate. We forget, how did the Bible go again? With the Old Testament and the New Testament, which one's true? All this other stuff. Shouldn't we have something in place like the Bible that will not deteriorate, where it's in writing, it's there in stone, it ain't going nowhere, the 10 Commandments are there. We should keep that as a population. Otherwise, we'll become animals, which we're seeing today with the TMZs, with these billboards, with strippers on the signs. I mean, isn't it good to have some sort of guideline, which the Bible provides, that enables us to follow a morality and never forget, and have at least a fear, like Eva brought up, to respect that instead of going back to our animalistic ways?
I think we kind of do, but again, like you said it and I said again, I mean, how many billions of people are there on this planet?
6.
Like you could barely control yourself. How are you
Almost
going to
7.
control other people? You know, it's just...
We need some sort of guideline, and if you don't want spanking at the schools, like you've mentioned, how else do we set a morality for people?
But
You got to
that's
have
me.
a guideline, and you were raised with this belief system of religion, and it's helped you, bro. It's helped you stay out of jail. It's helped you stay out of problems, and
Yeah.
look at you're growing as we speak. You're a smart man. You're very intelligent. You have a lot to say, and with that said, thanks to a guideline, your parents obviously who are religious, correct?
Somewhat, I would say, yeah.
They don't-
are.
they don't-
And one thing I would say, though, is like when my father grew up, like he went to school in Mexico. So when I speak about not hitting kids, because that's what I know growing up in America, going to these schools. I did go to school in Mexico as well, but my dad used to tell me, he's like, yeah, you did something wrong. You put out both hands and they smack you with the ruler. My dad was like, I hated school. He's like, why was I going to go to school? So then you tune out. He was one of the ones that said, fuck this shit. I don't want to go to school and get beaten. And then if he was, was acting like a clown, they would go on the chalkboard and do some little donkey
Dunce.
ears. And
Dunce.
he's just sitting like, that's detrimental to a little kid's,
Ego,
growth.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like bullying by the teacher, by the school, by the systems. That's why I disagree with
could
it,
put
because
too
of
much fear
personal
into them.
experience that I've heard from my father, But some kids need a good little whooping, but it should be from the parents.
And the thing I have a problem with some religious beliefs is that, like, people are just too damn compliant. Like, for an example,
Pick and choose.
I'm gonna use a family member. Like, every time someone knocks on the door and offers a product, he's like, well, yeah, like, he feels bad if he says no.
Yeah,
He feels
yeah,
bad if he
yeah.
throws away something that's almost about to expire. He goes to Walmart and buys things that are gonna expire and cooks it because it's cheaper. I'm like, this shit is bad. Like, there's old milk. We need to throw it away. We don't keep it.
Turn it to cheese.
And he feels like he's wasteful. And I'm like, dude, you're crazy. You're going to be sick this way. You got to throw away shit that's old. You can't keep it around.
Well, I can argue that's debatable. It's highly
Debate me, bro. Let's do
It's
it.
barely debatable because, I mean, whose interest is it for things to expire?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
They just
Whose interest is it to put an expiration date on that meat or that the company selling it because they want it to expire fast, so
Yes.
you go spend your money and buy more and make them rich?
They just did a study on 100-year-old canned goods, and some of them are still good today.
It's crazy. I know. I've heard that too, where they're like, don't go off the expiration date on some products because
I don't. I'll be
some
straight up with you. I really
some shit's
don't.
bomb still.
I never look at the expiration date, but if I buy something within that week, I'm using it. Because I always go get groceries every week. So I don't see the correlation here, but I can understand that they would put a expiration date so that you would buy the product a lot faster. I get that.
You brought an interesting topic up, though, on how the very fact that there's food to be wasted, and let's go, fucking in Detroit or somewhere, or fuck that, let's go to Africa. Like, these people can't eat, and there's, like, we're poor. Well, we're not poor, but yeah, in the other cities, we're pretty fucking poor.
But we're wasteful.
But that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so much fucking food in abundance that we throw it away,
Yep.
but
And then they
we're
lock
still fucking poor.
they lock the dumpsters so that the homeless can't, who
No,
are
now-
starving.
What they're doing is they're making it illegal to dumpster dive. That's what they're doing.
Well, like,
Crazy.
Like, okay, I got a solution for that. guys. I got a solution for this Obamacare bullshit too, where you get fucking taxed if you don't get this bullshit healthcare. It's bullshit.
It's mandatory.
I got the solution. It's like fucking out of the universe solution. It is like the fucking answer, guys. Debate me, please, if it's not.
What is it?
Boycott. Organize.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes.
Realize your power.
Yes.
Because when you buy something or you go to work or whatever it is that you do, you pay rent, you fucking drive fucking gasoline cars.
I'm going to tell you the problem. You know why people are getting it? Because they want that tax money. That's why people have children, to get that tax rebate. You know, a lot of people, that's how they were able to brainwash people to getting it. Like me, I'm one of them affected by it. I have to pay a fee.
I can see that. I can see that. But see,
I'm just saying that's one of the factors.
No, I get that. Yeah. And that's a real big factor, because then people will be like, hey, I'm going to get taxed. Yeah. But see, look.
Aren't you already?
If half of this country, and I mean if half of this country did not file their taxes, what would happen?
Nothing.
What would happen? Are they going to seriously go after half of the country?
They're going to go after the poorest people.
I was just talking about
prison.
With solidarity, though, bro.
I was just talking about this yesterday. There's no law that states we have to pay a tax.
We can't be an individualized poor society, because there's no organization.
Well,
we're not fighting for what we want.
How about we take it a step further and just stop using the paper money that they print on there that says it has value because the government says so, because we all agree. So if we don't even have to do the taxes thing, we just got to stop using the dollar.
These population centers, we call them cities, right? They rotate on fucking materialism just like money. It takes you away from living off of the grid. Because before, I mean, look, money is this service, right? If you think about it, it's this paper you get that basically is a service.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese. You get your tickets and then you redeem them for a price.
You don't got to kill your own food. You don't got to grow your own food. You don't need to fucking make your own clothes. All these other people
But don't question us.
But hey, it's simple. It's convenience. It's this convenience currency, man.
Chris, what do you think?
No, honestly, I mean, again, it's like I said, this country is a corporatist country. So anything that like we were talking about earlier with the expiration dates, of course, the corporations are just going to do, what they get consumers to buy more and more and more. And then the second part, what we do need to do is we need to stop. We just need to cut them off. But we feed into their power. We give them the power by giving them all the money, giving all these corporations all the money, so they have hundreds. They end up having tens of billions of dollars. These mega corporations. So we just need to buy locally. We need to farm our own food. That's step one.
I agree with you. I had a question though, real quick for you, Chris. I had a question. It's apart from. It's totally off of what we're talking about, but it's relevant to what's going down. Because you know about this, I've had a conversation with you, personal one, about this. What's going down right now in Ukraine and Russia, and how this country wants to start sending the Ukrainian, not people, but the troops. They want to start backing them.
They already have been.
Or they are, yes, they already did. So, in your perspective, because you have a solid understanding of what is going down, can you enlighten us that don't know? Because this is major. We're fucking with Russia again, so... please.
It says
okay, I'll explain the best I can. Is that I'll take it slow so everybody that doesn't know what's going on can get the clue of what's going on. In February, so about a year ago, there were some these protests started showing up in Ukraine. At that time, the government was leaning towards Russia. However, these people had connections to the West, aka the United States, to UK, West Europe, and some of these people belong to right sector or another very far right party. And these parties they believe that they are neo-Nazis. They look up to Nazi collaborators like Stefan Bandera as national heroes.
And who is Stefan Bandera?
Some of them,
yeah, you lost me.
Stefan Bandera was a Nazi collaborator who helped deport Ukrainian Jews to the concentration camps.
I see.
This guy was not a hero by any means, but these people in Ukraine that are now in the government do see Stefan Bandera as a national hero.
So let's compare and contrast.
Up on one of the government buildings.
Let's compare and contrast. How does that relevant to today's times? NDAA Act, National Defense Authorization Act, allows the president to capture anybody he wants that's an American citizen and throw him into Guantanamo Bay because of the fact that we disagree with what he's saying and we're making noise, we're making waves. Is that fair to compare?
It is fair to compare. And here's the thing. I wanted to mention this. And that argument, and it kept going on. I was on it a little bit while we were talking on while we were talking on the radio, that argument with those people that was earlier on Facebook. You know what they told me? They told me if you have nothing to hide, then why do you fear them snooping on you? And I was freaked out. I was like, I just shot bricks. In fact, right after that, I had to go to the bathroom. I thought I mean, that must have been the reincarnation of Goebbels right there. That was right out of Goebbels' mouth.
Yeah.
Like, you probably could have saw my face, and even thinking about it gives me the chills. Like, my face went pale when I saw that.
Well, Mike, this goes into what you said on how so many people bought this Obamacare bullshit and the taxation. They ate it up rather quick because there was really no opposition to it.
You know, it's funny because I still don't have health care, and I think it's ridiculous when I did look into it because my wife's work, you know, she's insured. They want to charge like $600 a month. I'm like, I'm pretty healthy last time I checked, but they know what's going into the foods. They know what's in the water. They know that more than likely, did you guys know that if you have cancer, it's just bad luck? That's what they concluded in the mass media is circulating that. They're saying that, it's just bad luck. It's not the GMOs, Chris.
Did you know that cancer is fed by sugar products?
Well, everything, you know, I've seen charts where it's showing the little cubes of sugar, and it's alarming. I mean, in these little 8-ounce high C, it has like, I don't know, 20 grams plus. It's
so
insane.
if you think about it, right, cigarettes cause cancer and lung cancer. There's all these warning labels
and
on
it's
it.
legal.
And it's not only that, but yeah, it is legal, but it's the same thing going on with these sweet beverages.
Yeah, definitely.
It's causing cancer.
Well, have you guys seen the Coca-Cola commercials lately? It's called, I forget what they called it, but they have a commercial where they're like, go on to this website so you can plan how to eat your day. If you're going to be sitting down and watching TV, you should be eating, and they show like water and some carrot sticks. If you're going to be out playing, you know, and then it shows them drinking a Coke. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
What do you guys think automatically if you see someone, like I see it all the time, it's hot outside, sun's beaming on them, and they have a Coca-Cola in their hand, or they got a Starbucks in their hand.
It's a Kodak moment.
You know what I think it is? It's addiction.
It's trends.
Not addiction, because
I think a lot of people don't know any better.
No,
I honestly
what was I watching yesterday?
You gotta look at the feeling that, right, whatever what an addiction is, right? And I don't mean to go on into the thing of addiction, but like it's a feeling and shit.
Dopamine in the brain.
Is it really an addiction that your body physically fucking needs, or is it just your mind that's telling you, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck?
What do you mean?
The fuck?
No, they were saying that chocolate brings in the most dopamines in the brain. It just all these sensors just start going like crazy when you see
dark chocolate, cacao, you know, the thing that's derived from chocolate is actually healthy for you. It's good for you, you know? So the thing is that a lot of things in their natural
cocoa is good for you.
Yeah, a lot of things in their natural state, in their natural form. The thing is all the food is processed food. The key term there is processed. When you can't understand 10 plus ingredients in your hamburger or whatever you're buying.
They told you if you can't pronounce one of those fucking ingredients, if you can't pronounce it, fucking
when I go get
it's not good for you.
When you get orange juice, they should say oranges. You know, like it's just
100%. And not even that. Even the 100% orange juice, like 100%.
Well, it's all false advertisement. It says fat free, but it's really not fat free. You know, or it says
they just reduced it. They reduced the levels. Let's switch it up a little bit with trends. This is relevant. Trends. This is all trends. People eating drinking Starbucks, people that are eating Snickers, all these trends. I mean, aren't they all trends? The behavior we display, the T-shirts that we wear, YOLO, these new trends that are arising to the occasion. What is your guys' opinion?
I have a confession. I had Starbucks today, and it wasn't because it was a trend. It's because my mind was asking.
I had some yesterday, but I didn't pay for it, so it's all good.
I wasn't expecting on paying for it because I had a gift card, but come to find out, it only had like $5.
You know.
It's all in moderation. But Evo, what do you feel about trends when you see somebody wearing a T-shirt that has a Justin Bieber picture on it, or a lunch pail with One Direction? I go to the swap meet.
I'm freaking in love when I see that shit.
Excuse me?
I'm in love. I was being facetious.
I was about to kick you out of my show.
Wait.
But no, let's get on Starbucks. Oh my gosh! For one thing, Starbucks is overly priced. Yes. It is, in actuality, shitty coffee.
That's what I heard. I never drank it.
And what about the child labor? I mean, all those
GMOs.
Kids, and yes.
Monsanto.
Anybody drink Budweiser here?
Yeah, it has GMOs.
GMOs.
So does Corona.
What about Coors?
Coors too.
You're paying for these companies to kill you.
Yeah.
You're paying for this, people. Don't you realize it? I used to demonstrate foods for a living, and I would do my research on everything that I was demonstrating. And if I saw all these really bad ingredients, I would tell my customers, you don't want to buy this shit. You want to buy that shit.
So you were actually doing a service.
I talked to people.
tried.
I talked to
That's good. That's
people
good.
at work. They eat off the roach coach, and there's this one guy who buys the bottled Coca-Cola, which is from Mexico imported, and they say it tastes way better because there's real sugar cane instead of the concentrated garbage that is
Syrup.
fed to our population.
Dude, Coke is Coke, bro.
Yeah.
Coke is fucking Coke.
No, I just.
There's a difference, bro.
Yeah, there is a difference.
I just think that
More sugar.
okay, over here, but the overall ingredients that are used to process that product is used in Mexico. It's an American ingredient. It's an American company. So why would they switch it up just because they're in Mexico?
Even that. With that said, though, didn't they use cocaine leaves to make Coca-Cola back in the day?
Originally, yes.
So what you're
they
saying
did.
is it's not the same. It's changed rapidly over time.
Well, it became, I think, the same effect that the cocaine had on these fucking consumers. They
Addiction?
just took more. Yeah, I guess it could
Well,
be
'cause
addiction, mental addiction. Yeah.
No, because you're right. Because they actually added more sugar to it
Yeah.
to compensate for taking away the coca leaves.
To get that rush.
Because what? Because sugar is a fucking addictive thing too.
What about
right?
these
Exactly.
these energy drinks? You know, they're wild. You know, the Monsters, the Red Bulls, and then the other ones that they have. The what is it? The one that's alcohol, but it's like an energy drink, Foods or
Four
man,
No, it's not a
Four
Four
Loco,
Loko. Is it a
Four
Four
Loco.
Loko?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Really?
people were dying off this. Like,
Damn.
I mean, this is pretty wild. You know, and who was saying about the Mountain Dew? You say you work with somebody that drinks how much Mountain Dew?
He has a 2-liter in his backpack every time I see him, and that's almost every day that I work. I see him walk by, and they say he always has it with him. A 2-liter of Mountain Dew. It's
Dang.
got to be extreme, bro.
Yeah,
That's the most.
definitely.
That's the most sugary soda I've ever seen because they showed a baggie of how much sugar they put into it, and that thing was like full. Like all the other ones, like the energy drinks, the Sprite, other sodas, they weren't as much sugar, but that thing was like full.
I'll be
sugar.
straight up with you guys. When I do drink soda, I water it down to the half. And then
Yeah.
I pour soda. I do that
And you
with
know- and
certain
you know
brands
what-
of orange
And
juice.
you know what that
Sunny
does, Mike,
Delight.
in the process? It
What?
gives you more fucking drinks.
Yeah, I'm prolonging. I'm getting my dollar's worth.
Indeed, bro. I do the same thing.
I do that all the time. You know, like it's too sugary
And
for
it's
me.
actually refreshing.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you get it to like the right
Yeah,
balance.
It's not too sugary. Yeah.
You know, I like McDonald's Coca-Cola. I'm sorry if I'm gonna. For some reason, it's watered down different than buying regular Coke.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
McDonald's Coke tastes different. I don't know. If
Well, ever since you said that, I've been doing it forever with my fruit punch. But ever since you said that about putting water into your
Yeah.
soda, I've tried it, and it's a lot less sugary.
Right, and
I hate so much salt on my damn fries. I hate too much sugar in my soda.
Yeah.
So I've been asking every time I go to the burger place, no salt in my fries, and
they
I
make them
love
fresh.
I love the taste
They're
of it.
usually forced to make a batch fresh.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
They are.
Yeah.
You gotta
So
ask them.
that's awesome.
Let's
yeah.
talk about the rich and the poor. Eva, are you rich or poor?
I'm as po as they come.
Cepta, rich or poor?
I'm rich, dog.
Excellent. Mike, rich or poor?
I'm wealthy in love, and that's all that matters.
I'm talking
man.
about financial. In your pocket right now, do you have $1 million or do you have
You know,
$100?
this is the United States of debt, so no, man. I'm waiting on this tax return.
I'm rich, bro.
All right.
I'm rich. I'm rich in talent. I'm rich in good vibration.
But how many pieces
I'm
of
rich.
coupons are in your pocket right now?
Check that out. You're right. But see, what is rich?
I'm not at all trying to
Fuck.
insult you.
It's no. There's no insult. Even the fucking idea of an insult, it's all mental.
Yeah.
You think about it.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything's mental.
So what's rich? You know, we got to look at the way you said that. The way we use our words. What is rich, right?
Yes.
So if we're always
You have to
relating it
define
to
it.
this financial, materialistic
Yes.
thing of what is richness, then of course you're not rich.
Let me
I'm
ask
a
you a
rich
question.
Person, bro.
Who bought a lottery ticket for that $500 million that was being?
I didn't even know because I don't watch TV.
I don't buy
but I
into
would
that.
have. I would have.
You know, I watch.
tease, bro.
I usually watch Fox News in the morning. The whatever. I like the older guy. He's funny because he's like,
Steve?
you see, yeah, Steve. He's like, you see what we're doing? He's like, because they're talking about, like, oh yeah, you know, people spending their money instead of paying their bills. And like Steve's like, well, we're part of the problem. We're the ones telling them. We're here hyping
least
it
he
up.
noticed
So
it,
he's
yeah.
really like sarcastic sometimes. I think he's funny because it's Fox, you know.
You guys
but-
should watch or no, listen to Democracy Now.
Oh yeah, all the
JFK,
time,
bro.
all the
Holy
time, bro.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they got rid of Julia,
Oh.
whatever her face was. Julia, that one fucking girl with the boobs always pushed up.
You know what those shows
Julia.
do to you though? It just
Jillian.
stimulates some low-lying chakras, man.
Julia
Yeah.
Barbary.
Jillian Barber.
Julian.
I take all that stuff with a grain of salt, just like we said earlier.
But it's because you
know,
already know of
Exactly.
it. So you're looking at it more like satirically.
Exactly. Kind of
So-
like the Jon Stewart. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Jon
So let's
Stewart.
say somebody that really believes in what they're saying.
Oh,
Like,
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
See
people
how it conditions you to act of that way.
Correct.
Like right now, we're fucking literally gonna go to war with fucking Russia again. That's a major thing, dude. That hasn't gone down in how long? Since the Cold War. Come on, dude. This is some major shit. And you want to go and talk about the most stupidest shit that you could ever talk about.
Well, we're talking about the discussion of rich and poor, and one thing I was researching a lot last night, and what's happening is, we mentioned earlier about the national debt and who owns it. A lot of it is Russia and China. If you look, and this is a fact, if you look on a chart within the last months before Russia trying to invade Crimea, is that correct? How
Yes,
you pronounce
yes.
it? They started dumping and selling it because they knew that the United States would impose financial sanctions on them.
Yeah.
So at the same time they were doing it, China was doing it. So that's when they became alert, like, hey, something's going down. But the thing is, some secret buyers buying it all up in Belgium. And they're trying to say that it might be the Federal Reserve itself, mystery
doubt it.
person, which I wouldn't doubt it either. But what they're saying is that they cannot prolong that for so long. That's why, what does war do? It makes money for some people. Unfortunately, it does. Another thing I want to touch on, the gold. China has been hoarding gold. Supposedly, they have about 3,000 tons. They only claim to have 1,500. The reason the euro is more powerful than the dollar is because Europe overall has 10,000 tons of gold. The United States has a little bit over 8,000 tons of gold.
So they say.
Well, that's what they say.
In that one place,
Yeah.
right, where they keep the gold, which
Fort Knox.
yeah, which we've never been able
Yeah.
to look into.
Yeah, but the thing is with the gold is
Could be all
because
gone. That's scary.
Russia and China, they're trying to overthrow the dollar to implement their own currency, and Argentina's with them. They have a lot of other people. But the thing that we touched on earlier was about the NAFTA, Mexico, Canada, the United States, breaking down the borders, introducing the Amero.
Yes.
So it's kind of setting up all this stuff, and I'm starting to connect dots. I'm
Well,
like, this
look,
is a new world
the
order.
2008 financial crash was a fucking major usherer of that thing we're talking about, which
Yeah.
is the North American Union.
Yes.
So yeah, going back to when we were talking about how all these sanctions and all this
Yes.
shit goes down with war, right? Saddam Hussein, dude, we
Yeah.
were cool with him. We sold him fucking chemical weapons in 1983. He used it on the Kurds in 1987. We even fucking told him, hey, I want to invade Kuwait. Go for it. So this country, he had the fucking blessing of the U.S. to invade Kuwait.
Yeah.
And then right away, what do? Fuck you. We're going to fuck you up, dog. Because he wanted to get off the dollar, bro. He wanted to do his own shit.
Well, right now, Saudi Arabia is not too happy. Have you guys noticed that oil was just plummeting? Isn't
Dude,
that kind
it's
of
coming up right now. It just
yeah,
rose.
and now it's
it rose,
bouncing back.
It rose around 30 cents, dude, within the last fucking week.
Yeah.
Okay, but my big question, because I lived in Colorado for approximately 6 years.
Oh,
Okay,
awesome.
Colorado does not have any oil refineries, okay? And if they do, they're nowhere to be seen. But California, we have an overabundance of refineries, or we do have refineries
yes.
here. But gasoline in Colorado was a fraction of what it was in California. So,
What's going on there?
yeah, what is going on
What's
there?
going on? Yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot of geopolitics. With the Saudi Arabia, the petrodollar that came into play because the United States went out to Saudi Arabia. They worked it out because during, I think it was the 70s, or
Yes.
prior with OPEC, where
The
they had the gas
gas
lines,
wars.
right? The gas lines and all that. But what's happening now is that China and Russia are coming together trying to overthrow the petrodollar. That's pretty much what it is, and it has been the standard for many years, many decades.
Why do you think we've been lowering the prices, man? Because we're fucking with Russia, bro. As we were saving
they're a huge
money
exporter, right,
as-
of oil,
yeah.
and natural gas and things of that nature.
Yeah.
One thing
So-
I heard though is that the United States is going to be the number one of natural gas and even oil eventually.
Why do you think we're fracking so much over here, bro? They're saying that the center of this country has so fucking much natural gas under its fucking under its foundation.
Is that where they're doing the Keystone pipeline?
That's in Canada.
Oh,
okay. But yeah, it's the same reason. It's to rack up all that energy, dude. So yeah, I would see that there are gonna be some power plays, but I think the war for oil is gonna translate into the war for water eventually because we're running out of water.
I was just talking about that today.
Yeah. I really believe that. That water's gonna be the next oil war, bro. The way we're fighting for oil and shit and control, we're gonna be fighting for water because we're running out. Something's happening. I don't know if we're running out, but something's happening.
Chris, what do you feel about water?
Honestly, I think that within 10 years there probably will start to be more of a competition. Possibly, with wars about it. As we don't have that much fresh water, left on the planet. We've used a lot of it up.
James was in here. We were talking about environment, and he said that any type of water can be recycled and consumable. So I don't know.
It can.
Yeah.
It can, but it's a lot of work to do it. One of the biggest examples of it is in the United Arab Emirates. They have one of the biggest, maybe the biggest desalination plant in the world. It requires a lot of labor. I mean, a lot. There they rely practically on their almost slaves to do it to keep the thing running. But because it's just constant. It's constantly changing out stuff. These things are. These things are not really efficient. But I think it's possible that some of the water, salt water, can be filtered and used as drinkable water. However, we don't have that much fresh water that's ready to be used left on the planet.
What about water that's radiated?
Oh yeah, and then there's a ton of that stuff. There's a lot of water that's been polluted. There was one of the biggest fresh water reserves was in Libya, and then after that, the 2011 intervention, it's been tainted now because of all the bombs and that were used in that intervention in 2011. Was Gaddafi? That was actually one of his biggest achievements. He was working on setting aside this giant freshwater reservoir in Libya, but that got interrupted. Also, like his gold dinar plans, like you guys were, which I want to talk about. I want to talk about the petrodollar, and that it could have been a lot further along to destroying the petrodollar if Gaddafi was able to stay a few more years, because what he was doing, he was unifying all of Africa against the petrodollar. He would have had all of Africa trading with what he had, the gold dinar, which was a currency based off of gold that they would have traded oil in. And, Gaddafi was really unifying Africa like nobody had ever done before, and with his African Union, which is not like the North American Union, which the North American Union is just a plan for the elite have for the United States, Canada, Mexico.
It's more of a corporatocracy, right? For the American Union as opposed to the African one, right?
The African Union wasn't a corporatocracy. The African Union was solidarity between Africa, all the African countries, against Western imperialism.
Which was the corporatocracy, Which is us, or this North America. Wow.
Yo, so let's wrap this show up by stating our beliefs on what we can do to change this country, what we will be doing in our near future, 2015 and beyond, to infinity and beyond. What can you do to change things, and what do you plan on doing? Do you have any ideas, Chris, on what you would like to do to change the system that we're in? Any ideas so we can spread awareness?
Okay, I have some ideas. For what I'm personally going to do is, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep doing radio, try to wake up some people, because I know that the information war is the biggest war, and it looks like right now we might actually be winning, because Hillary Clinton said she said that they're losing the information war. Mainstream media is losing a lot of followers, a lot of viewers. And what I'm just going to do is try to inform myself so I can inform others. And what I do plan on doing this summer is I plan on seeing a country that I've always admired heavily, and it was right by my home country, Colombia. I plan on going to Venezuela myself, and I will report what is really going on there and try to see myself what Hugo Chavez is in his legacy in that country, a leader I heavily respect, and I would love to see his accomplishments of what he's done to help the poor, what has he done to what has he done to he turned a third world country that was in the 90s, it was in pretty rough shape, and turned it into a country that now is a lot better off, than possibly, the United States in some ways, by how its future, and while the average poor person, their standard of life's there.
With its social
So,
services, man, yeah.
Well,
Shit.
this will give you a little bit of tips. I know you don't really need them, but the only thing I want to tell you about is remember that the person that you're talking to, they might be ignorant, they might not want to listen, arrogance. Remember to always.
Can I add something to it? Can I ask Chris a question real quick?
I'm just like in the middle of saying
All right,
something
cool.
now.
Sorry. No, well, before you go off the air.
Yo, yeah, definitely. Chris, I wanted to tell you, when you're talking to somebody, remember when they're not listening to question them, to be like, not to say, why are you this way, but to say, well, why do they think that way? And begin asking them questions to get them to open up. Because some people feel like they're being attacked when you start asking them, well, why don't you believe this? It's more like, tell me why you believe this, instead of attacking them by stating you need to prove yourself worthy. Just be like, well, why do you believe that system, so I could understand it, and then with that information you can fill them in a little bit about the things they might not understand. Go ahead, Cepta, say what you want to say.
Awesome. All right, Chris, for the average person or anybody that's listening right now, what do we do about this crisis that's escalating in Ukraine?
What do you mean, as Americans?
As Americans, as people that are right here in the West, as people that are on this region of the world.
That's a good question. What can we do?
Our taxes are going to that. So, yeah, what can we do?
What can we do for the average American citizen who, some of them don't have jobs? We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world.
But for the ones that pay for everything, because we pay for everything, and that's tax.
How do we get involved when we have to go to a 9-to-5 or not making enough money to have a vacation to get involved to the White House, to make a trip to the White House, to protest? How do we start?
I say the start, of course, is that we have to inform these people, especially Ukraine, because it seems like Americans have been left so in the dark on this issue, and have been told this one-sided story of Russia supposedly invading Ukraine, and that Russia's trying to take over Ukraine. And they don't know about the Nazis in power in Ukraine, that Kiev is now under control by fascists, and the fact that MH17, that aircraft that was shot down, was indeed shot down by West Ukraine, and that as soon as the evidence came out that East Ukraine didn't do it, that the pro-Russian rebels didn't do it, and that West Ukraine did it, as soon as that evidence came out that West Ukraine did it, our media went silent about it because they didn't want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's the thing we have to do. We have to. It's organization, I think, honestly.
Definitely organization.
It's like we need to be able to get those people that can't go to the protest themselves because of lack of funds. We got to organize stuff. We have to make things work. If somebody's got, for example, somebody's got an SUV that can hold 7 people, you better bring the people that can't drive themselves up there to Washington D.C. to protest.
So basically, it's a community approach.
I think it's always has been that way. It has to be. The only problem is that when you start doing that, you get these people who infiltrate it, who usually work for the government, just like in the riots in Ferguson, where they're the ones actually starting the commotion, and they confront him. The guy pulls out his gun, and he's the actual cop that's infiltrated it. I'm not trying to burst bubbles, but it seems like it's happening more and more. And all these things, they're saying you can't protest anymore. There's all sorts of laws that are being imposed on us as Americans. They want to take away our guns.
Regulations on the internet's coming back.
Yeah, regulation on the internet. I think it never left. Look at Facebook. Facebook, the FBI, the cops don't have to go anywhere anymore. They go on Facebook, and these people willingly put up all these information. That's why you got to be careful what you do put up sometimes.
That's what Ron Paul was trying to warn us about. He's telling us, just because this internet bill didn't pass to regulate, doesn't mean there's not another one coming around the corner.
Well, you got, the Koch brothers investing almost close to $1 billion for 2016. There's an agenda behind it.
I feel real quick as we go off. I just, once again, we're the creators of that wealth, and it sucks in a way, because if you're ignorant of it, and a lot of our peers are, and a lot of population is, if you're ignorant of how much of a valuable asset you are to run this machine, because really everybody's valuable, everybody's a cog, everybody's a belt that runs this big machine called the U.S., and it seems like they kind of prey on that. They prey on our ignorance. I think that's why we have things like entertainment, so you don't think about this. You think about Jersey Shore. You think about sex. You think about that girl you're going to bang tonight.
And education has skyrocketed as well.
And look, it's like a lack of education turned into edutainment. That's what happened. And it's like, what goes on here, man? We're over here talking about what can we do. It's all about organization. It's about waking up. And the sad thing is that I'm enjoying this train ride. It's so comfortable, dude. I'm just gonna go sleep, even though it's running into a wall or it's gonna go off a cliff. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the worst mentality.
Well, I think another thing is too. I was reading an article saying about our generation, the younger ones, about school. It's like they're so disillusioned and so disenfranchised with all these student loans, all this stuff. So like they're demoralized. It's kind of like, well, damn, what am I living for? What am I working for? I have no worth. I'm hopeless.
But what happens when?
And I'm not saying this is everybody, but I'm just saying that it made sense. I was like, dang, why aren't people protesting? Why aren't people coming together? Because they're already defeated in their pockets. They're already defeated.
$1 trillion debt, bro.
Exactly.
But see, you got to look at it too. It's like a sensory deprivation. It's like an inspiration deprivation.
Yes.
Because look, okay, financially, once again, okay, I told this guy, hey, life is an illusion. Well, if I hit you, it hurts. Okay, but the reason why you hit me is based on an illusion.
What if I'm Neo?
You know, and it's just like the very fact that we go to school and pay all these debts is based on this illusion.
Yeah.
We keep going with it. And unfortunately, until we're not willing to face those growing pains of going outside of it, nothing's going to happen. Look, man, if you're an addict or if whatever it is, you hit rock bottom. Eventually, I think, you get tired of being there. You're like, fuck this. I'm out.
I just hope it's not too late at that point.
And that's the thing, is that it's different from an individual perspective as opposed to a country perspective, because by the time you want to come up, you can't, because there's all these laws, or there's concentration camps, or there is a fucking telescreen in your room that watches your every movement.
Yeah. And they're getting bigger and bigger with the drones and all that. There's a friend on Facebook I have named John who actually is a protester. And I try to always picture you when you talk about me. They say if you want to achieve a goal, you picture yourself doing it before you actually get it done.
Law of attraction, my man.
I always try to picture how the fuck are we going to change this? 1,000, let's say 10,000. We were able to get 10,000 committed people to protest to the White House. What good is that going to do?
You know what happened, bro? That did happen.
Okay, and what did that do?
You know what happened? No, it was the Occupy movement. Oh. What do you think they fucking stomped it out the way they did? They nipped it in the butt before it had a chance to expand, and it was expanding, my friend. Those people were scared because they weren't going on, like right now, this is a great forum, but they weren't coming on podcasts talking about it. They were going there and occupying buildings. They were getting arrested. They were getting pepper sprayed. There was that, what was his name? Not Bradley Manning. I forgot his name. Scott Olson got hit in the head with a canister, dude. A military vet got hit in the head with a canister because he was occupying.
Chris, didn't one of your guys get arrested, Chris?
Duty.
What?
Didn't one of your guys get arrested? You were posting on Facebook that he's in jail. Who was that guy?
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Well, he wasn't an occupier, but yeah, Michael Hallman, which was my co-host. He got on trumped up charges. He was put in jail. He's 20 years old, remind you, and he got charged underage drinking. And they gave him. They originally gave him a 3-month sentence, and I think it's because he's an activist. They know that. Plus of his Russian origin, he's originally from Russia, moved here when he was 7 years old, and he's still he's actually still loyal to Putin, and he's against our government. So I think that's why they trumped up the charges against them, And
this is why I agree with Cepta on the police thing, because they're getting paid to protect corporations, big money, Wall Street, and that's the problem that I have with police on that side of the agenda when it comes to daily protocol things, saving people, helping people, and sometimes some of them fucking it up. That's a different story. But when we talk about them protecting the bankers, these guys that are fucking us over, that's the problem that I have. Eva, you've been through time. You've lived through this life. What do you feel about today's time from back then? Like, what has changed so dramatically that we can't even get shit done anymore peacefully?
It's because we're apathetic and we're complacent. We let the television do our thinking for us. We let everybody do the thinking for us. We have no mind for ourselves, or mind of ourselves. We can't think. We have been subdued.
Critically think that is.
What I believe is that we have to remain vigilant. And, let's bring back the 60s, man.
Yes.
Bring back the 60s.
I'm down with that.
Let's go out there and let's protest. Let's make a difference. Let's make some noise.
Well, they've learned from their mistakes. When they would broadcast the Vietnam War going down on national television, people were protesting, saying, fuck that.
Why do you think they killed Woodstock, man?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But now look at what we have at our disposal. We have the internet. We have Facebook. We have this. We have Twitter. We have We have freaking cell phones.
And you know what's crazy with the
Domino effect, man.
With the advent of technology, I'm able to find out what's going on in Yemen right here in California. I'm able to find out what's going on in Kiev right now. You know, look at right now with Chris. We're talking to him. He was from fucking Florida, and we're talking to him right now in California, right here in Orange County.
Yeah.
Like, you're completely right. So it's like we have an advantage, if anything, that they didn't have at that time.
So what do? We take advantage of what we have,
That's
right?
awesome.
And let's use it to the fullest extent.
Now, would in your opinion, would it be being inspired to do that? Because then you have this motive of, okay, let's go.
I'm very inspired.
So how do we inspire people around us?
The domino effect.
Yeah.
It's just like that. You know, you tell one person.
Like word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Plant
word
a
of
seed.
mouth.
I have an answer for that.
Plant
and
a seed.
A principal told me this, and I was asking him about the
A
paddle.
hemp seed, preferably.
Shouldn't we bring the paddle back to the schools? I was telling him, he was a principal, so this guy has bad information. He's like, no. He's like, what we need to bring back is love. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, the children need to feel love. They need to feel like we're there for them. Yeah. And I was like, damn. And that just sparked me up right now when you said that. What can we do? We need to bring love back to our people. We need a lot of money to do that because we, be able to feed people, be able to buy them things that they need, enlighten them, have a room to educate them. Like all this stuff is going to take money, and that's the sad part is that the people with the money are using it for their selfish ways. Where people like myself, yourself, Mike, Eva. E, who's on the phone, and Chris, we could all use money to help people, educate people, and make a movement. And then they'd call us radicals and have us on a target list where we're bad people because we want to see a difference that could help everyone.
But isn't it worse just sitting on our asses and not doing anything?
Indeed.
Definitely. E, would you like to leave a closing statement? We're about to wrap this show up, bro.
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry for missing out on the last half. I tried to call it back. But
that's in the past, bro. Keep moving, bro.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that last statement. Yeah, you definitely need to teach people love, man, because a lot of these people these days, they throw in the words, I love you, or love, but don't really know what it is. Yeah. You need to not only just explain it, but know how to show it.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's missing in this life, is love, and the ability to share love and express love.
Empathy, compassion.
I have a buddy named Ilcap. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I feel like he is almost like at the edge of being a gang member. And me, by showing him love, giving him tickets to a theme park, giving him stuff that made him feel like I give a fuck about him, his whole perspective on me has become nothing but love. He gives me free beats. He does things for me because he knows I feel the same way about him. And that's, again, where it starts. For those that are troubled out there, we need to help them, go out of our way to make sure that we care about them, spend time with them, and do the right thing. But E, can you go ahead and plug in your guys' your show and let us know where we can find your show at?
Yes, you can find the show, the actual show to listen to on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the E for Eternity show on Blog Talk Radio, NWO Truth Radio Mass Media. You can also find the Ian Maddox YouTube channel, where little E and I also do a YouTube show every once in a while. There's some shows there that we did on YouTube. And there's also the E for Eternity on the E for Eternity show Facebook page, in which we have 200 some odd members. And you can also send me a friend request on Facebook.
And can you plug in again how you found Wildstar, who's running for governor in California? Can you tell us about that? Because I did hear your show.
That is really awesome how that happened. I was actually looking to networks with some other anons.
Anons are what? Anonymous?
Anonymous, yes.
Okay.
And I was looking through different anonymous social groups, trying to network with some people, trying to get something started. Because out in the Catskills, it's dead out here when it comes to movements. So I was looking to just network with people in other places to start places somewhere else, or maybe online. So I went to Anonymous Los Angeles, and I made a statement, like a speech or something, and one guy answered the call, plugged me into Anonymous New York, and then plugged me into a whole network full of people, and Governor Wallstar was one of those people, and then I got flooded with all these awesome people. And along the way through the year, after I got plugged into NWO Truth Radio, when I became a member of the coalition after I told my story on James and Penny Revelation show, Truth and Penny Revelation Radio, you can find that on Google. If you look for that, where I became a guest on a show, where I told my story. I met a whole bunch of mutual friends through them, and along the way, I met Eva, who's now my co-host on my show.
Beautiful. Well, we'll definitely tune into that. I'm a fan of it. Thank you for calling in, brother. Until next time, man, we're gonna have you're gonna have the governor in here hopefully one day, and have plug you right in.
For that, I gotta be here.
Yeah, that guy's cool as fuck, man. He did a lot of videos, man. I think you dig him. I'm in, man. Chris, would you like to plug? Chris, can you plug in your show real quick before we end the show? We have about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Go ahead and plug in your show so people out there can check it out.
Okay, I am on the network, on Blog Talk Radio. The network name is Stay Bold Radio. My personal show is Voice for Rebellion Radio, which I am the main host, Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. Pacific Time. I also have my co-host, Al Schwartz, who used to do SM Radio and is pretty similar in political ideology as our group. And also that guy I was talking about that was arrested, and also young activists like myself, 20 years old, Michael Hallman. And also, I'll put out the call-in number if you want to call in rather than go to the link, 347-205-9576, 347-205-9576, the call into that show. This week we're talking about student activism, students who are activists, because we're talking about my friend and my friends in college, Al, and I'm in high school. We're going to talk about how students are targeted when they are activists. And
that's a great show.
Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's a great idea, man. Thank you for calling in, brother. Till next time, we'll keep in touch, guys. So take it easy. We're going to let you go from right there. This is the Open Your Minds podcast. Mike, you want to have a closing statement?
I'll just say something real quick. A lot of people, when you start speaking the way we have been in the conversations that we're having, they might label you and be like, oh, why don't you just leave this country, or why are you so anti-American? What I want to say to those people is, we care about this country. That's why we're talking about it. That's why it's on the table. That's why we're out here doing it. We really do care. I love my country. Don't get it twisted. I love where I come from. I love all this stuff. It's unfortunate that there are certain things that do happen that are negative, but it's going to happen in any country, any city across the world. All I'm saying is, don't be scared to speak your mind, do your research, and it is being American to actually fight for your country and to try to lobby and change this foreign policy that is detrimental to the whole world looking at us like an enemy, when in actuality, Americans are some of the most loving, caring people that you will meet. I'm not going to say everybody, but there is a large society of us out here, regardless of the race, religion, whatever it may be. So don't lose faith and keep pushing.
Beautiful. Cepta.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to say something to everyone, and kids especially. You have the power, dude. Like, people, sir, miss, everyone, you have the power. And I know a lot of us feel really like discouraged and overwhelmed at what's going down, but I mean, look, Rome wasn't built in a day. The Magna Carta wasn't written in a day. So just believe in yourself. That's the most craziest thing for all of us to do, is just to believe in yourself, because if you believe in yourself, you can create anything. So I feel, once again, with the sensory deprivation, and entertainment telling us to look outside of yourself for acceptance and love. Nah, man, it all starts within. Inner peace. That's where it's at. Word. Like everything that we talked about right now is impossible without having your self-love, without you accepting you for who you are. So people, kids, please embrace who you are, because there's only one you. Okay, no doubt, you are unique. But since there is one you, there's a lot of us out there that are deeply as unique. And you look, man, there's all kinds of cells in our body, millions of them. And they all are vital to each other to create this big thing that you see in front of you as a body. So it's the same thing with us. We're all vital to this production, to money movement, to all of this, to labor, to jobs, everything that is because of us. So next time you feel kind of low about, oh, I ain't shit, just remember how epic you are.
And listen to our podcast.
Because look, think about it too. We're all, sorry to sound nasty, but we were all semen, dude. One sperm cell made
we're
it
the
in.
best swimmer.
Out of how many, though? I'm being serious, dude.
Millions.
Out of how many?
Yeah.
And you made it here. You are right here, right now, talking.
A fighter since the beginning. Real talk.
And we don't realize that. And that's the biggest travesty. That's the biggest crime of our generation is we don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. We don't even know where we're going. But yet, we know it all.
Oh my gosh, that
Look
was
within
beautiful.
yourself.
Damn.
Look within yourself, my people.
The only thing I know is that I know nothing. So I,
Socrates, man. It's all within you. It's all in your
Socrates
mind.
philosophy.
Eva, what do you want to say?
I just want everybody to have, just like he said.
Everything
man.
he said.
I'm just like, whoa. And I will be stealing a lot of that.
How do I top that?
Please.
I can't top it.
No, you
I
could
can't
compliment
top
it, though.
That is so awesome.
It's from the heart, and that's where we need to come from.
This
We're
dude
wars.
has passion.
He does have passion.
He
I almost
has
started
passion,
crying,
yeah.
but then I was like,
Part of me wants
okay,
to run for
refrain.
office, but I know they'll kill my ass. So.
They already are, bro. GMOs, the
Yeah,
air,
there you go.
fluoride.
I had
I mean-
Starbucks today, so they're well on their way.
But
Knock on
remain
wood.
diligent, people. Fight for your rights, fight for your voice. Don't allow them to take away your being, because it was given to us freely. Well, there was a tag attached to it when we were born, but they don't own us. We master over them. Don't forget that.
There's more of us.
Them. Indeed.
Exactly.
We are the 99%, and without a 99%, there would be no one.
Damn.
Straight out.
Yeah, that's right. And also, don't try to trade your freedom for security, because security is a false illusion.
It is.
And
It
freedom
really
is skin deep, and it's around you, and it's autonomy.
And it's
autonomy,
mental.
you can do anything you
Mental
want.
freedom.
So since we got freedom, my people, listen to the Open Your Mind podcast and let's organize.
Correct.
Yes, sir. We're going to be out like
Word
that.
up.
Thank you guys for tuning in again. Eva, thank you for being here. Septa, thanks for
Thank
popping
you.
in at the last
Thank
second.
you, guys.
Yeah,
And
thanks to
refreshing us,
everyone.
because we used a lot of good energy in the first 2 hours, and you just coming in right out of nowhere was just like a good way for us to keep going.
You were the energy drink we needed.
That's right.
There's that
Thank
sugar.
you, thank you, thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to be out like that.
Azúcar.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, my
Thank
brothers and
you.
sisters. One love.
Peace, love.